Hey folks, Francisco here from Sports Goofs. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcasts on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Carlo works the puck up the ice. Tried to get it to Greer. Greer checked there by Cole Koepke. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare back out there for the Lightning. He missed the last couple of games. Personal leave of absence, and he's back out there in a much-needed situation for a veteran centerman. And that's what he's going to try to provide here tonight. Perbix plays his man along the end board. There's Sergachev. Gets that back in the corner for Maroon.
Lower that.
Now scooped up.
Illegally played game in the background. Whatever, it was only a few seconds.
It's licensed
fair
by
use.
somebody.
Fair use, whatever. Nobody knows what fair use means anyways. So what's up, everybody? It's Francisco and Charles. Andrew may or may not pop in. We don't know. For Sports Goose number 159. Yeah, I think that's it. So, So Andrew's doing the thing right now with the big move. So we're just hopefully he'll pop in, but yeah, then we'll next season we'll have to review the logistics because I believe next week's his last week in the state of Florida. That'll be our last show, I would think, for this, until the holiday break. So
that's pretty much a holiday break.
Yeah, so then we'll work it out after that to figure out how the time difference and things like that. But at the very least, we
don't die.
Yeah, that's true, and we'll all finally have a unique platform that we can all game on.
Mm-hmm. I wish he was here. Maybe we'll.
I know.
Maybe we'll do what we'll do is it'll be like the second to last thing at the cage or whenever it comes
The
up.
thing is, I labeled this show Nintendo Switch. I was hoping he'd be on here because I basically wanted to just talk about the Switch today. Sports.
I mean, that's what I'm playing right now. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. You're playing. Wait, what game are you playing?
I haven't decided yet. That's the
okay.
hard part.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think it through.
So all right, so we bought Andrew a Nintendo Switch, and he, me and Charles as a going away present now that he's gonna moving across the country, and it's the one unique thing that we can all have. We can all kind of keep together, even though the show has kept us together. Regardless, something a little fun. I feel like he deserves it. He's a great human being, so he definitely deserves it. And the Switch is hot still, and he's. I put this on the group chat. I'm kind of jealous of him. I'm jealous. Like he's got a brand new video game console in his hands, and it's deep into its lifespan. Meaning, like
Everything's available.
It's a treasure trove of games. Like he's got so many options, so many choices. He doesn't even know what to do. It's kind of like the inability to decide because of so many options where he can go, right? Mm-hmm. And he's not as big of a gamer as we are, so it
doesn't mean he can't be.
Exactly.
You have to find your niche, man.
We've been trying. We've tried. He's got his PS4, so he's got one of those, but he doesn't game on it much. And
the PS4, I'll tell you, I'll interrupt you on that one. The PS4. You're kind of guided by what society tells you to like a little bit. Case of what, God of War.
Which
or Horizon.
Is selling fantastic right
now. I will be I'm not going to be a contrarian, but there was someone who was a contrarian. I'm not going to try to poo-poo on him, Ross. But, there's comments I have. Or you get the AAA sports games, Madden and NBA and all that. And then you have, like, JRPGs. And then you get somebody who's in the center where you don't have those weird kind of out of date stuff. And what I always liked Nintendo for, and you and I have talked about this, I think this was a building blocks for us when we first met, aside from Splatoon, which was unique in itself. Nintendo had unique stuff, and also they're the only platform that really encourages platformers to just platform. And that's what I'm more. I love platformers. You know this.
Yeah.
You fucking know this. Whereas I am that man who is like, oh, oh, they made DuckTales remastered. I'm gonna spend $5 and I'm gonna play it. I'm on the eShop right now seeing the platforms because that's what I grew up on. Yeah. RPGs were tough when you're 6 or 7 years old. I don't care what anyone says. No one's a brain like that to know how to use stat points. And JRPGs, I can see the allure to it. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
And then when we had platformers, the other thing that we had was the Metroidvanias.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what did I send you the other day? I was like, oh, it was the Symphony of Night Rotundo of Blood combo.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, bitch.
Castlevania.
Oh, bitch. And then the Mega Man. So it's Mega Man X series.
Yes.
I don't know if you're a big Mega Man guy.
Well, yeah, the X series was the aftermath of the regular series.
But were you a Mega Man?
I played through. So I had Anniversary Collection on the GameCube.
Yeah.
So I played through most of those. 7 is really hard without cheat codes.
7 is super hard. They're all kind of hard, man.
Well, they are, but at least 1 through 6, you had save states and all this other stuff. So but 7 and 8, because 7 was a Super Nintendo game and 8 was a PlayStation game and a Saturn game, surprisingly. And I couldn't even get through 8. I got like halfway through 8, but I just kept dying. I could probably get through it now if they have like save states and stuff like that, but I don't think the Legacy Collection has only 1 through 6, I think.
It's all about that rewind feature.
Yeah.
That's why like with the Disney recourse in. But those kind of games, you know, it was those difficulties, and it just surprises me. Like I was decent at this at like 5 to 10.
Yeah.
What the hell happened at 33? You know, like that's one of the reasons why I couldn't attack Demon Souls. And I was like $30. I was thinking hardcore.
Yeah.
I was, because you know me. I'm like $30. I'll try something. You know how they say it's like, oh, you know, I'm all for butt stuff.
It's half off already.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is why I miss Blockbuster. You know, it will encourage me to get a little wild with my gaming. But for Andrew, you're on the perfect platform. Now, we have to educate him a little bit, because I think BioShock is a good series, except for Infinite. Infinite is a good action game. It is not a good BioShock game. But, you know, we have to educate him on what performance is. I don't know if he's a car guy, but the way I always explain Switch performance in the car thing is like, you know, imagine your Switch as being your small little four-door sedan, but some of these games require like that high-end Camaro, that high-end engine, and certain games don't work.
Yeah, and some games are more tailor-made for the Switch experience of, hey, pick up and play. That's why I told him, like, hey, RPGs are actually good on the Switch, because even though they're long, you can have them, you know, have the Switch right next to your bed. Just, you know, hey, let me pop in, you know, 15 minutes, chip away at it. That's like how a lot of people like Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley was like a game like that, where you had to chip away at it and stuff like that. And people played it, and it was on console or on Xbox or PlayStation or on PC. But then it came on the Switch, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is actually a good game." And like, case in point, Doug has like the only time I see him on the Switch, and every time it pops in the notification, and like boom, Doug Solar playing Stardew Valley. I'm like, that man.
Yeah, he's dedicated to it. I mean, listen, the Switch is perfect too.
Yeah.
Because I think about like when I got through Pokemon Shield, you know, the reason why I dedicated those 40 hours, because I know it's a 20-hour straight through story, but it was during the NBA Finals. I'm like, yeah, I can just watch the game and play it through, and it ate so much of it, and it's very convenient for that. But it also, you know, Nintendo's not gonna have the best online stability for certain stuff, but it also has like some hands down strong, you know, Nintendo factory games. Like Smash is one of the best fighting games out there. Y'all can keep your listen. I appreciate Arc as a developer. They made Dragon Ball Fighters, and I absolutely love fighters. For me to put 30 hours into a fighting game is stupendous. They also do Guilty Gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
y'all can keep that. You can keep your, you know, Tekken. I don't want to say. I was about to say Tekken's Wash, and I felt like people were about to come at me.
Street Fighter 6 comes out next year.
Street Fighter's Wash as well. Yeah. Why do you think they finally simplified?
No, 5 was, a lot of people didn't like. 4 was
good. 4 was peak. I liked 4 a lot. But the problem is I had 4 on my Xbox when games with gold for the 360 was just perfect. You're getting like perfect games. The Xbox did not have good button schematics and coordination, and their D-pad is atrocious.
Yeah.
Anybody who's played a legitimate fighting game, you want the Sega Genesis kind of D-pad kind of thing. I remember paying the accessory. Do you remember paying the accessory for the fighting stick mechanics when games were great to be fighting games? You get the little arcade cabinet. It was great, fantastic. But the point I was making is that, you know, those kind of games you could just chisel on through. But there's certain games that are not going to go in there. Like I'm looking at the sales right now. I'm like, what's on sale? Of course, I can do the AAAs because you have Smash as one of the best fighters. I'm trying to feel like I'm missing another fighting game that everybody loves to like worship, and I can't give it its time of day.
I mean, fighting games. I mean, the big ones are. I'm going to keep going down each of these rabbit holes.
That's non-Smash. What you see as the esports. And here's the thing about esport games: they're so biased, man.
Well, there's gatekeeping. There's a lot of things with it.
Yeah, but, like Guilty Gear Arc is probably
Guilty Gear, which Guilty Gear.
They're hard, man.
Yeah, SNK. So you have all those games, King of Fighters and stuff like that, which is just fine. I like King of Fighters. It's pretty cool. But it's hard to get good at those games. You got Tekken. Tekken's the other one.
Tekken Tag Tournament
was the last time Sega made a Virtual Fighter game? Dear Lord.
Virtual Fighter 5 was the last one.
Yeah, they re-released it. Yeah, they re-released it. So they're not even trying with that. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
You know what it is, man? You know what it is with the Mortal Kombat stuff? For me, and my nephew likes Mortal Kombat, so every time, he had to have me my ass every now and then on it. And I used to love it on the Sega games. It just doesn't feel the same. So whereas it's weird where Tekken and Street Fighter do not evolve, they did not hold on to the advancements of what you want, and you kind of, they hold on too much of that nostalgia. I played Mortal Kombat. I'm like,
Mortal Kombat is nothing like it's evolved. Yes, it's nothing like what it was back in the day, and it's more at this point more about movie references than anything else. Like those DLC characters are fantastic. I like the nods to movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's also very playstyle reference because I played 11 with Antonio, and it was so weird that now you're having what stance do you want? I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I just want a bicycle kick as Liu Kang, and I want to do the nut punch with Johnny Cage, and I want to do the get over here with Scorpion. It's enjoyable. Do I need to buy it? No, I actually prefer the Injustice series because I feel like it's a little bit more well thought out. I like one a little bit more than two, but I have both. But also because I'm a Nightwing fan, and didn't have Nightwing.
And their DLC was pretty cool too.
Listen, I got number 2. I should just pop that on right now as my game's downloading. But as number 2, the fact that I can do as the Ninja Turtles as a character, because I've been on a cowabunga kick.
Oh yeah,
for the last month and a half, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's been an obsession with the Turtles this year.
Yeah, right. I can't explain it. But for him, he has to kind of find his niche out. And for the Switch, there's all those platformers. He can do some of those Metroidvanias. Like if I can get that boy onto Guacamelee, I'll be the happiest person because I can't get you convinced.
I am convinced. I just do you want to see my backlog?
I know your backlog, and what I'm saying is there's some things that are priority.
I know.
I can eat a cheese sandwich for dinner, but if I have steak available to be made, I'm just going to eat that. Plain as day.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to have good things in your life. You appreciate the struggle too much. Man.
Yeah. No, I've already. Like I beat 100 games this year, of varying lengths and whatever. Like,
please tell them because they're gonna think that all you do is fight DHS and then play games. You're like, does this man poop? No, he's just a machine.
Well, okay, so like maybe a third, or no, not a third, maybe a quarter of those were like arcade, like quick arcade games that 30, that had the rewind features and the save states. A lot of
Contra collection is $4, and I have a 228 for the gold platinums. This is Contras, man, underrated.
Yeah, and Andrew,
kids these days, man.
I put Andrew on my Switch accounts for Switch Online. We played on the first night of his Switch. We played Kirby Clash, Super Kirby Clash, which is fun. I like Kirby Clash. It's fun.
I think I have that one.
Yeah. It's got, it's there. It's a good free-to-play game. You don't have to spend any money on it. And, if you play with one person who's, like, all souped up, you'll get stuff quickly. So there's that. And so we played that, and then we played some retro games. We played Baseball Simulator 2000 or whatever on the Super Nintendo. So we did that. And then we played NES Ice Hockey, which is fun. And
I played that. Yeah.
And then we ended with Tecmo Bowl. So, so that it was just classic. We were with the sports angle. The sports show, everybody. With that, and then who else is going on with the Bruins? There's some guys on the ice for a long time. Anyways, so there is. So we did that, but I'm trying to steer him towards. I feel like Andrew is the type of gamer that he's not gonna game on a ton of things. But he'll get, because his background. I think we kind of feel his background is mainly like old school PC games, like our. He was talking about Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. He asked about where can I find good old PC games? I'm like, well, it's literally a place called Good Old Games. That's where you can find those games. So he's on there with his laptop. But the Switch has some stuff that I think Warframe's good. I don't know if you ever dabbled into Warframe, but I've dabbled into it. Every once a year, I'll pop in there for a few hours. And it's just a big, giant space world, and it's MMO in a sort of way. You do certain missions. I have a crossbow, which I love. I can't master it on Splatoon, but I sure as can in that game. And
that's so hard to do on Splatoon. I did it one time. I'm like, no.
If you see people on Splatoon, they gain a lot of points on it. You can score on them in bunches, but I don't have the patience for it. And then so I feel like he might be into that. A game that he doesn't have the game much, but he'll latch on to something that will give him those 100 hours over the course of a year, let's say.
Whereas I think if he did like the old beat 'em ups, like Double Dragon, the Pilgrim versus the World that I'm staring at right now.
Luckily,
couldn't get them on the Cowabunga collection. Sadly,
the Switch Online has some good ones on the Super Nintendo. Some okay ones, not great. You don't have Final Fight or anything like that, which is the kings of that. But they do have Streets of Rage 2 on the Genesis. Which
4, I was thinking about like doing a group thing for us. 4 was like $25, so I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like what? I get it, but why?
Well, I've heard it's really good. I've heard like it's literally it's the definitely they nailed all the points with that from what I've.
The people who made Streets of Rage also made Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah,
Coinky Dink.
Well, no, they mastered it. We're finding out these indie developers that know what they're doing. I think there was an Atari 50th anniversary collection, and it's the same people who did like the Mega Man collection and all that stuff. Like they know what they're doing. I think they did the Cowabunga collection too. So
maybe. I have that waiting. I'm so excited.
So they know, like they have like all the art books and the history and all that stuff. If you want to watch all that, they know what they're doing.
This is the free games I have. I have Super Kirby Clash.
Yeah.
That's the one that you guys have. I have Ninjala. That's why I texted you because I was
Ninjala's fun. I just haven't I
downloaded it and I never played it. And
I like it. It's not like Splatoon, so it's different, but I find it to be fun. I don't know how, and from what I see, they're still going strong because like they do advertisements for Angels games.
Any game that gets, if it's released and it gets a year of development, it's going on that paying money. Yeah. And here's my thoughts about pay to play. I'm not paying. I'm not going to tell people how not to pay.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, I just won't play it anymore.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. And if people paying it makes the game better, and you don't have to put as much resources into it, I think that you did a very well constructed Ponzi scheme, to which I actually benefit off of.
And I've tried,
as opposed to being Bernie Madoff.
I've tried most of the, or FTX. I've tried a lot of the free. I'm checking them out now because I know that's what Andrew. Once he gets them.
Rocket League. I haven't touched that since.
Which one is that?
Rocket League.
Rocket League. Oh yeah, yeah. But Andrew gets discouraged with Rocket League, so.
It's not a hard game, but the problem is you just can't be a hero. Yeah, you just can't be a hero, and that's how I put in my 15 hours. I was like, all right, don't be a hero. It's good, and it is enjoyable. It's a perfect
Rocket League's fan.
Yeah, it's a perfect let me listen to an audiobook where I got 30 minutes.
Yeah,
and you can knock out like 4 or 5 games.
Put on podcast, yeah. Put on our podcast.
Put on our podcast. Hear my dulcet tones.
So there's that. I think there's a game called was it Roller Champions or something like that from Ubisoft? That's
I know
like
what you're talking about.
It's
like
it
was $20.
Yeah.
I thought that wasn't free though. I was looking at it.
It's free. I think you were thinking about Knockout City, which is from EA.
I got Knockout City for free on my PlayStation.
They made it free to play. They made it free to play now. So
see, that always concerns me sometimes.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, let's charge money for it." You can. It was like free up to like a certain level, like you leveled up to, like level 5, and then after that you had to pay. And now they're just like, yeah, screw it.
It's a demo, basically.
Yeah, and they're like, nah, screw it. We're just gonna do free to play because whatever. I guess maybe not enough people bought it, so they're like, oh, let's do it.
Overwatch 2 is free, but here's my thoughts on that.
Yep.
If you have to take out characters that were there because you have an existing bug that you can freak out, I'm not gonna play you. And I put in a good 10 hours of Overwatch 2. I thought it was enjoyable, but the minute you froze May, I'm like, I'm good.
Oh, that's what happened on Multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not on the Switch. It's not on the Switch. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. But they took out LeBron because he was broken or something like that.
There's so many jokes you can make there.
Yeah. So they took out a few characters.
He probably defended China one time.
But you notice nobody talks about multiverses. So that's probably a problem.
Because who wanted that? I mean, like I look. There's sometimes you get gem games. And you're like, oh, I didn't ask for this. It's fine. But I never looked at my backlog and said, you know what, man? I want to play a Shaggy and beat the shit out of Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't wake up that day and be like, for the meme culture. But the people who do want to play, that's fine. If it's not my place of worship, I'm not going to go to that church. That's my mindset.
There's 3 Smash clones that are on the market right now. I think there's a 4th one. I think there's like one that's like for indie characters. I think from
I know which one you're talking
from Guacamelee is actually in it, but it's
I know which one.
But like nobody really plays that, as far as I know. Then there's the Nicktoons one, which didn't have voice acting, which was dumb, and I think they're gonna.
I have because it became a free game. So I'm like, all right.
I think they're gonna add it later, from what I've heard. They're gonna have but I'm not sure. And then you have Brawlhalla, which is Ubisoft's thing.
So much money.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft's thing, and so sometimes you get some of their characters in that game.
They also got something from WWE in there.
Yeah, so they did have wrestlers. I think they had Ninja Turtles too.
Yeah, they had Avatar, dude. The
Yeah.
Last Airbender. They are like licensing right games because they're hitting the demographic of like violent 10-year-old kids who get beat off in the corner. So it's just like, all right, let's just go beat up on these Disney characters I have strange feelings on. Why is Aang looking super attractive with that tattoo? It's about a process of finding themselves out.
So they're doing what multiverses probably should have been doing, which is like stand out in some sort of way. Because like I don't know, when I looked at multiverses, I'm like, okay, it looks kind of like Nicktoons.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I went back when I was playing my Wii U. That was the last time I played Wii U. Probably for Pac-Man. I played Pac-Man, and I was like, let me jump into Smash Brothers for Wii U just to see like the difference.
It's a good game, but it's not perfect.
Oh, it's night and day difference between this and Ultimate. Like
That's
everything about yeah.
That's why I need people to get off of Melee's dick.
Yeah,
you just want to say it's good because you love it, but it is not the best one.
Smash Ultimate is slight years better than every game that came before, even Wii U. Like everything about Wii U, Smash Ultimate did like the animations, the graphics, the style, the lighting, even the speed of the game. Like it's slower. Everything is just so much better on Smash Ultimate.
The cool period between when you can counter and dodge is so much higher because it's a little bit more stiff. Now, mind you, honestly, being objective, the Wii U one is the second best one. In my eyes, I have it going with Ultimate, Wii U, Melee, N64, and then Brawl. My problem with Brawl isn't that the game was not fun. My problem with Brawl was it was your first online Smash Bros. And it was. I remember calling Nintendo. First, I called my internet company.
You called Nintendo.
Yeah, because I'm like, what the fuck? I was 19 years old. You barely understand this. You're 19. You barely make money. So $50 was something to come out of. But you're going to play it, and you're going to invest in so much time into it. But you just want to act because not everybody had a Wii at that time period because it was popular. It was hard to find. You know where my ass found my Wii? Toys R Us. I just walked in there. Hey, you got this? Like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
People say you don't have this. Well, that's their fucking problem. We got it. I'm like, look at that. And I just got it. And so like a $50 game, and so I'm like, oh, here's this online component. That's interesting. I don't have local friends because that's when I had just moved like a year and a half later. So it's like, you want, there's no, I'm going to say this confession. I can play Madden against the computer at any time and beat it and feel good. But if you're just playing, a fighting game against the computer, and it's not to get good, but just to enjoy it, just play a little bit of Tom Waits or Nick Cave in the background for me. Play my little violin of sad boy music. Just dim the lights a little bit and make it look like a Dave Cronenberg film or Darren Aronofsky, and I'll go shoot up heroin afterwards because it's kind of sad. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, online stuff. It's not the same when you're 10 years old. You're just learning stuff. I'm like, 19, I want to beat some people. And I remember calling, first off, I called my internet company, and they're like, no, you're good, man. And then I called Nintendo. I was like, hey, is there like it's original? Because they had customer service people, and that guy's like, I don't know what to tell you.
I love the image of 19-year-old Charles. But I'd like to speak to the manager. Where's Mr. Miyamoto?
I called the customer service thing just to see if there was any issues, because you got to remember
Sakurai back there.
But let's talk about how old we are for a second. We didn't get day one patches, kids. There was no patches for those kind of consoles.
Not for the Wii.
Yeah. So that's the thing. We didn't have those accessibilities. So, and the internet's one thing, but the internet was not as surprising to say when you think about it reflectively. 2008, 2009, or 2007, whenever the game came out, 2009, I think, it wasn't as responsive to, what's going on. You don't go to like Nintendo chat thread and you have the answer immediately. It's not like Reddit where everybody has a solution. There's people who are just waiting there. So I just want to know. And the fighting was fine. The mechanics were fine. The specials are fine. I still put in like 80 hours. But the thing that I had used as an advantage to purchase it, because you didn't buy that game for the Wii motion controls, that's the one time it didn't really apply. And if you did, more power to you, because holy shit. It was just kind of lackluster. So that's why I rank it so low. I'm very sad. I'm a very sad boy. Very sad boy. As I look at all these free games on the eShop to contemplate. Pokemon Unite, I know that's the RTS.
Yeah,
right?
it's like their League of Legends or something like that, or Dota. I'm not even sure what but I dabbled into it a tiny bit. I think I could get into it. It's fine. It looks fine. So there's that. They got a bunch of Pokemon stuff. Pokemon Quest, which I think is... I haven't really tried Pokemon Cafe, which is just like a puzzle game.
I don't need all that Pokemon, though. You literally, in one calendar year, gave me like 4 games to buy.
Yeah. There's...
It's okay.
Yeah, and then I tried some of... They have a bunch of other free-to-play. They have Rogue Company, which isn't bad. Me and Doug did Apex Legends, which is on... which runs pretty fine docked on the Switch, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 720p, and that's where we had to kind of explain it to Andrew, because if you thought it was foreign for anybody listening to us here, this is Sports Show, everybody. It really had to go to a guy who's been out of the game and had a PlayStation 4, and like the one game he had was
he just
MLB.
Has MLB and NHL. That's all he's got.
Yeah, and I remember last because he's like, Charles, find me a thing for Overwatch. I'm like, that's the game of interest. I remember when I had my first beer, that's what it felt like. So I was like, I really want to get him. And mind you, I put in like 50 hours in Overwatch 7 years ago. So I want to get him to. You have to. You know what the thing is? I'm going to quote The Office here. You don't know when the good times are happening until sometimes a little bit afterwards. That's how I feel sometimes about your gaming, especially if anything that's multiplayer based and multiplayer competitive. Because the minute, remember when Splatoon? Well, not Splatoon. Yeah, a little bit of Splatoon 2 was kind of dying a little bit before they announced 3. Yeah. Approximately about a year and a half ago. Because, of course, when 3 came out, or when they announced 3 and they said, hey, everything's going to transfer over, people got back into it. But there was a dark
Splatoon 2 it was fine, and then, like, they had the last Splatfest. It was like, okay. And then it kind of just died off right there. And then the pandemic happened. They're like, oh, we're going to do Splatfest again. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, let's do it again.
Yeah. And that's what happened. The only game I think got into the suffering of too many of the same things that tried to do something different but couldn't break away from Nintendo Shadow was ARMS. ARMS was a fun game. I paid like $30 for it because that's when Best Buy had the discount rate stuff. Yeah. And you didn't pay into it, but if you got to a certain thing, you get into it. So I got to give those like day one for and I put in like 10, 15 hours. And like I said, for a fighting game, that's a good thing. Roller Champions is the game you're talking about.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's not what I'm thinking of, but if it's free and he has, I'll give it a shot. I'll download it in the background.
He just needs the memory card to whatever. There's a bunch of games on there. I don't mind playing with him and getting into something new. That's not,
He just has to get the damn memory because the Switch does not have internal memory.
Yeah, so that's
go from there. Yeah. We just need our boy. Right now he's in the process of moving, but those memory cards are cheap all the time. Yeah. I will cruise that shit. Right. And thank you for giving me that website because I was eyeing some of that shit.
Which unclaimed baggage? Oh, a lot of the stuff is gone, man. People nap them up quickly.
That's fine though.
But they got right now. I'm literally looking at it right now. I'm literally looking at it right now. They've got Civilization 6 on there.
5 or 6. Yeah, but you can't play against each other online.
Yeah, I know.
I was looking at Civ. I was like, do I want to kill 5 hours of my life each night?
Yeah. And then you got Immortals Phoenix Rising, which you played already.
Good game. Play on the PC.
And then one that I'm kind of eyeing is Fire Emblem Warriors because I love.
Bro. I was looking at Three Hopes. I'm like, I didn't play houses,
Mhm.
but you're putting us into the Dynasty Warrior stuff, and you and I did. So this is also the fun part too with Andrew, and he may not go as much as we do because he's probably more fiscally responsible. But
Yeah.
you and I have been on like the same game journey because I think we've done what 4 of the same games in the last calendar year.
And I have to get back into Yakuza. I don't want to start. I'm trying not to start a new game until I get through Yakuza.
I don't disagree
luck
with you.
with that.
God of War actually had to come and play, but we might go into Yakuza. And the
I get it.
palate
Well, same
cleanser
thing happened
will
with Sonic.
be-
Yeah.
Yeah, the palate cleanser will be Kirby, I think. Kirby, because we're not depressive yet in God of War. We'll talk about it in a side segment. It's a sports show, everybody. Sports will be talked about.
Yeah, the Lightning and Bruins game is on the side, so
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Aaron Judge is going to leave us. Fuck him. But it's to kind of get him engaged in certain things and try out some things as well. And he's got to figure out what he wants. And then there's us looking at that unclaimed baggage.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, I've been looking at that. I've been looking at Goodwill as well because there's a bunch of games that are on there too, which intrigue me.
And I'll tell you now, when it comes like I typically don't like to buy games used at GameStop unless it's like super like buy 4 for $15. I'm like, it's a PS4. Mm-hmm. So Switch games though, because they're never cheap.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me that cartridge.
Yeah.
Just give me that cartridge. And so I was looking on because they had the Mario Golf Rush.
Yeah.
I know it's not your cup of tea, but like Mario niche games tend to hit more than miss. Yeah. And like look at Aces. I absolutely adore that game. 100%. Without question. Adore Aces. 25 hours for a tennis game, buddy. So when you give me the golf game, and I actually like golf. I think it's more interesting than soccer. Let's transition to soccer real quick. This is how we get the sports segment in real quickly in the first 30 minutes. This is my problem with soccer. Football, the World Cup. Sports are supposed to be transcendent. I cannot dunk on a motherfucker. I do not know if I could read a pitch, the difference between a changeup and a curveball. I know, even though I lift some weights, I've been looking jacked. I'm good. I'm not even on steroids. Thank you. I don't know if I can hit 457 feet bombs. I'll try. I might get a single, but I ain't going from there. I'm going to be more of like, Pete Rose Jr. coming into some shit, going from there. And not knocking it out from all that. I'm not going to be Shohei and Judge just going from there. Hockey.
Oh. All right, so for whatever reason, Charles, I can't hear you, and my mic is working, so I guess your connection has gone down. So, anyways, guys, I guess this is a sports show, so we'll try and harp on that at this point. Well, let's talk about some friggin' hockey. The Florida Panthers have not been doing great. I usually try and do a post-game show on my own separate Florida Panthers historian account, but I haven't been able to because I usually do them after victories, and the Panthers have not been victorying much lately, and I've actually been very upset about that. And last night was not good. So anyway, I think Charles is probably talking right now, so I'm trying to send him a message. Your mic dropped. I can't hear you. So there we go. Let's see if that'll get his attention. Anyways, or his internet might have dropped. I have no idea. But this is me by myself, and man, I should be better at these contingency plans. Okay, so his internet got kicked out for whatever reason. All right, so he's gone from there. Let's see if he can. He's gonna pop in. Connection lost. All right, let me see if I can. All right, how about now? Can you hear me, Charles? Hello? No? I don't know what's going on. Let me check my device. Stereo, microphone, everything's working there. So, whatever's going on, dude, I don't know. I still can't hear you. So it's not my connection. I have a solid connection right now, even with the streaming and everything like that. All right, so yeah, the Florida Panthers. So it was Matthew Tkachuk's first game back in Edmonton since he was traded from Calgary. And the Oilers fans do not like him, and he does not like the Oilers. And he scored a goal. He scored a goal for the Panthers early on, and he had the boos raining down on him. But unfortunately, at the end of the game, Panthers were not able to hold on for a victory as the Oilers scored with, I think, like 4.4 seconds left in the third period to tie the game. And then the Panthers, someone, I think it was Kachuk himself, who might have got caught and fell down in his own the Edmonton zone during the 3-on-3. During the 3-on-3, and then the Oilers had I think it was a 2-on-1 with McDavid and Draisaitl, and that did not end well for Spencer Knight. Bless Spencer Knight, who is doing all he can to keep these Panthers propped up in this this early part of the season. He's definitely my number one. I think a lot of Panthers fans would echo the same sentiments as far as him over Bobrovsky. Oh, hey, what's up, Charles? I just started.
I'm telling you right now, we got shut off talk about soccer because we beat Iran. US. I'm telling you right now.
Those Qataris.
So, my last thought. Me, you, or Andrew. We're on the pitch. We're on the Messi, or I don't know who's like an important person.
Ronaldo.
Well, I know Ronaldo, and everybody just hates him because he's handsome, I guess. And maybe he's a sexual assault person. We don't know. That hasn't been claimed into yet. But if our one job, our league coach goes and says, kick the ball to Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, and all those other guys, I can do it. You can do it. Andrew can do it. It's not a transcendent sport. It doesn't put me in awe. Aside from being boring as shit. So that's my sports thoughts. Now you can take the ball to wherever part of the field you want to take it with. Or we can go back to the switch. I'm fine.
Whatever. I just want to shit on soccer for a little bit more.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We can always shit on soccer.
And look, whatever. The beautiful game. I don't give a shit, man. It's a boring ass game. And like, oh, well, you don't understand the intricacies. And people, especially American soccer fans are the most obnoxious of all, because they want to matter so much around here.
You know why people in Brazil love playing soccer and people in Latin America love playing soccer? Because when you're poor and living on the streets, all you had to do to pass the time was kick the ball.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of, like, there's a little bit of American exceptionalism that comes into it.
Yeah.
You know, you play dodgeball or kickball.
And it doesn't even have to,
elementary school.
Doesn't even have to be that way, because like in Cuba, Dominican Republic, you know, they play baseball. Their soccer teams are shit. You know, so it's not a total thing. In Japan, the Japanese, they have a soccer team, sure, yeah, but it's all about baseball there. So there you go. But anyways, trolling soccer fans, American soccer fans, is actually kind of fun on Twitter, especially around this time. And it's also funny.
It's so personal.
Yeah, it's also funny to see casual fans, just because it's the United States, and just shitting on other countries when we tie or beat them, because there was one quote. Somebody said, "I like the fact that we're taking something away from another country that they care about more and we don't give a shit about."
That's legitimately what we did for Thanksgiving.
That's
American roots right there, baby.
Like Iran, Wales, like England. Like if we beat any of those teams to prevent them from winning the World Cup, they suffer more. Even though we, like, if the Americans get knocked out, it's like, all right, let's see what Tom Brady do this week.
You want to know why it's good? It's because we have. I'm gonna support America here. Get my red, white, and blue.
All right,
which is a shocker.
Yeah.
We have the best trash talkers amongst the 100 plus
KG
or 200 plus countries out there. There's no one who's better than us. There's no one who's better than us. You know what we did? We beat the England. You thought the Boston Tea Party was bad? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
If we prevent it from what we drew.
You know, your wife tastes like Baba Ganoush doesn't sound as bad as your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. So
exactly. Yeah, precisely. And then like today we're being around, we were like, that's for the high oil prices. You know there's some dumbass out there. You know who's someone's just drinking beer like fucking OPEC. I'm telling you. And here's the thing. You people, someone might be offended by that statement. Yeah. This is literally people that we deal with. Francisco and I are actually pretty tolerant. It's surprising. I know I sound defensive on it, but they only hear us for like 159 episodes. They don't know how like we really are. We're actually pretty tolerant, and we respect human beings. There's some dumbass out there with their fucking Dale Earnhardt hat memorabilia collection. First off, my buddy's dad does this, and it's different with the old generation. But I always feel like if you have a memorabilia collection of a person, like if you have a sports person's action figure and stuff like that, I'm like questionable about your decision making. I'm like, you reproduced? Okay. But there's someone who's literally like, get it for the oil prices. It's true. And then there's someone who go there for England, the Boston Tea Party. We will find a way. And I'm part Argentinian, so trash talking's in the vein. The boys know not to catch me on anything stupid if I'm just feeling a little vindictive on that day. You know, the Porky Pig comment that I made to you last week. I won't go to the details of the case. But that's just me scratching the surface. The Americans, we take it up a level. Like if they went to Argentina, like if they played against Argentina, I know what they would talk about my namesake, my brethren about. You know what they go and say? They would be like, "Oh yeah, we'll find you Nazis." They'll say it. They'll say it. We went against Colombia and against my other home state because everybody knows I'm slim. They're like, "Oh yeah, you know that's for narcos." It is the most illogical argument. You are trash talking with a 10-year-old with a Hustler magazine, and we're better than you. To quote MJF, AEW, follow him on the Twitter. And you know it. That's why I kind of love that energy a little bit as a fellow trash talker.
Yeah, it's fun. And then just this guy was like, "Oh, have you ever played soccer?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fucking Latino. Of course, I played soccer a little bit."
We went to PE, buddy. Okay, because you've never played soccer either on the professional level.
I'm like,
even dare make
and I was trying to like make compare. Oh, I've played hockey. It's not the same. Like you get rest and all that stuff. I mean, you're fucking little beer league hockey if you've even played that, which I doubt you have. You probably just threw on some skates real quick and it was something just as a joke. You're telling there's hits in soccer just like in the other sports. I'm like, fucking A.
No, there's not.
Fuck no.
I have seen more injuries about like men sliding to third base. I was seeing Hunter Pence just tore his shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like actual concussions.
Do not compare hits in soccer to hits in hockey. There are compilations on YouTube of players flopping.
Can I go dark for a second on that?
Like the only real legitimate injury that I saw was today, where the guy's nuts got knocked out while scoring a goal. That's the only one, and I actually respect that one goal. Go America for that one.
See, I'm gonna go dark here for a second.
Let's do it.
If you don't have a high rate of like player suicide attributed to CTE or anything else like that, you can't say that's a hard hitting sport. Just saying.
Yeah.
What you get in soccer is organized crime killing the people who didn't do anything. There was a Colombian player who got popped in the face. But if you, we're going dark here. I'm not going to mention certain players' names of it.
Oh no, it was a 30.
But you know where I'm going. So that comes to create some concept, where it's born and it's bred. And I can tell you now, the injury I had trying out for soccer when I was 11 years old in 2002 or 2003 at Westwood Middle School, and I lost that because I was tiny and my growth spurt's not kicked until 13. I'll die on that hill. The little cuts of blades of grass, the annoyance, the little itchies is the same injury that I was sustained probably throughout the entire period. Whereas I don't have 100-mile-per-hour baseball hitting me right in the head, breaking Giancarlo Stanton's beautiful jaw back then, causing all these little nonsense. You have give me my platform. We're doing this. You have more physical injury, damage, and just longer, difficult rehabilitations in professional wrestling. I'm not talking about the wrestling that you guys are talking about. We're talking about my wrestling, stuff that's supposedly fake that you do in soccer. Until you get a Chris Benoit situation, I don't hear anyone talk about it, right? Like we went dark there, but it goes to show people tearing their pecs, people injuries, the trauma to their bodies, steroids. Well, steroids are everywhere. So technically wrestling should be a sport. That's going to be the litmus test in there. Cardio endurance. Show me a Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega. That match went 60 minutes and then some, buds. Not doing anything on soccer with no halftime. And then it gets dark, like a couple of the names I dropped there. But what the point I want to make is there's such intense injury, demanding, and then psychological and physical damage done to you where there's actual brain trauma. That's the physicality of what we're talking about. Boxing.
Yeah. And even like
so does wrestling is wrestling a tag team sport?
Because people make fun of
tag team match.
Because a lot of soccer fans, well, what about baseball and all these other slow? Like I can.
Who has never said baseball's not physical?
No. I'm talking about like how people say soccer's boring. And soccer fans will actually be like, well, football is boring. You guys stop every 15 seconds for this and that. And I got to plan out your stuff. I'm like, yeah, we're actually doing something with our time instead of dicking around. So, because that's what I see when I see soccer matches. There's a bunch of dicking around. And every once in a while, the guy gets kind of close. And then there's offsides for whatever fucking reason. I don't even understand offsides in soccer. I understand it in hockey. It makes sense in hockey. Don't go past this line. The rest of your body can't go past it until the puck goes past it. Okay, that's fine by me. But, the defender has to be back there. You have to. I'm like, what the fuck is this? If the guy's too fucking slow to get, there's so much to be improved. I liked how somebody was just. Oh man, I'm just going off on a bunch of things, but like,
let's just do it. Yeah, we listen. It's a sports show, everybody. Poor Andrew's gonna be like, "Oh, we're talking about Switch. That's cool. Why are we shitting on soccer?"
Oh, we are shitting on soccer.
Look, it's the least talk about sport here.
Yeah,
I don't attend it. I won't go to the Inter Miami games.
Yeah, I went to the one Inter Miami game. I'm like, okay, fine. I was just. I can. I love how there was. I think it was like an Onion article or something like that. It's like sober English soccer.
Yeah.
The one you sent me. Yeah, realize the soccer is fucking boring when he's sober.
And look, we're gonna make a disclaimer for the people who do like football, soccer. We understand what we're stating is ignorant to a degree about soccer. That's how much we don't care about wanting to like soccer.
I gave soccer a chance. Okay.
Fuck that. You get that chance when you're 12. It's a 12-year-old.
I gave them a chance. I gave them a chance at FSU watching the soccer team was actually pretty good. The ladies soccer team. Okay. I gave them a chance at FSU. They were pretty good. And then once I graduated, I didn't give a shit no more. And I gave them. You guys have had 3 chances to get me. Okay. Super Mario Strikers on the GameCube, Mario Strikers Charge on the Wii, and Mario Strikers Battle League on the Switch,
which I might get one day. Not this
and
day.
You haven't gotten me. I gave you a chance. If Mario can't convince me, Mario can convince me on golf. He can convince me on tennis. I'm a
tennis fan because of that game.
Yeah, exactly. I understand the rules of tennis. I can actually watch a tennis match. And I can get it. And actually, those guys actually have endurance and physics. You talk about endurance, the tennis matches that sometimes can go for hours. My God, just one-on-one actual battling between 2 guys. Things are happening. Like they're not just dicking around. You could dick they're fucking tired. Yeah, they've been running around doing nothing for 90 minutes, and then mysteriously, stoppage time. Well, it's like in football and whatever, when they have injuries, then you got to stop the clock. I'm like, yeah, they stopped the fucking clock.
Yeah, because they haven't stopped the clock for Tua because Tua's having a damn seizure, whereas your guy's like, my pinky.
Yeah, but you guys don't have the sense of mind to be like, maybe we should just stop the clock and then just keep going. Because you're just adding more time, the time that was already wasted. Okay, then stop the fucking clock. What's the whole point? Well, it keeps the game moving. The game's not moving anyways. Yeah. These 3-0 scores with these super teams, supposedly, it's a 3-0 score over some shitty whatever. Oh, man. I sound like Donald Trump. Anyway. Whoa.
You're dying. Okay.
Yeah.
I get cut off for attacking soccer. You're going to get assassinated.
I'm sorry. I was eating Fruity Pebbles real quickly.
He's a grown man, ladies. Yeah. He's 34.
It's good,
he hates
man.
Soccer.
Dude, Fruity Pebbles.
He's got great hair. We love
every
him.
Once in a while, you got to go.
Did I not tell you? I showed you what my folks got me for birthday. They got me the Fruity Pebbles pop of Fred.
Go back to our cereal draft from a couple years ago, folks. That's actually some freaking gold. Every once in a while, I listen back at that.
That still might hold up to being an all-time fave.
Whoa. Oh, man. I thought we were going to keep talking about the Switch. But anyways, soccer sucks. I don't want to keep
Would you play... Here we go. This is how to bring a Switch. Would you play like a soccer game on the Switch? No. Why? Because soccer failed you.
Mario Soccer hasn't got me. Soccer has got me.
Just like the same way Mario couldn't sell me on the Olympics. I don't care about the Olympics.
Okay, if they had Mario Cricket, I bet you they could sell me. If they had Mario Rugby... Fuck yeah, let's see what that's about. Okay? Mario, I don't know, badminton? I mean, sure, why not?
Mario curling, unless that's in the winter sports.
It's in Mario and Sonic. They've had curling before. I understand the rules now. The soccer one no. The Switch Sports, they added soccer to it. It doesn't fucking work. I don't know why they add soccer to it. It's not really made for the whole motion thing unless you have a VR thing with the treadmill thing. So yeah. Anyways, speaking of Mario, the trailer came out for the Mario movie today.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
I will watch it and I will text you.
I will say they've nailed everybody except Mario.
Well, we kind of knew that was going to happen, though.
Exactly, but I was hoping that Chris Pratt would at least make an effort. Sort of did, but he didn't. So,
the thing is, though, it's such a unique voice, and I would not have put Charles Manjonin or Marinette as him. Obviously, whoever the person
he does
is.
one thing to try and mimic the voice.
But the question is, who would you have casted?
No, I think Charles Martinet is already a voice actor. He
I'm
could
talking.
do it.
Well, and there are some people who can't get the inflection. I just want to know why St. Jude's
like in
is asking to donate so much.
Like in look, they could have put somebody else, but like they went for big stars and stuff like that. But like the Sonic movie, they got Ben Schwartz to do Sonic. He's not ultra movie star, but he's someone that works. Like he's John
Ralphio.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all you need to know why it's perfect.
Yeah, and he does a John Ralphio thing in the second movie. So,
oh my God, does he? I still haven't seen the movie. I'm sorry.
He does. There's a tiny. It's just a little quick, just as a nod to it.
Because I've got pressure.
And they did that, and then Tails was Tails' actual voice actress, which is good.
But to be fair, hypocritically, they got Idris Elba as Knuckles. So, the Lord giveth, the Lord take it away.
He's fucking great. He's fucking great as Knuckles. He is great. I love it.
I still feel like Idris Elba wants to get away from the fact from being Stringer Bell from The Wire, because Stringer was one of the, everybody loves Stringer on The Wire. So his whole life has been chasing to not be Stringer Bell. He's like, I'm going to be Heimdall in those Thor movies.
You know I'm British, right?
In The Office. I'm going to be Luther and give you my British side. For the love of God, don't think that I'm a drug dealer boss, secondary boss from Baltimore. Nope, because I'm always going to seem like Stringer Bell. When I see Idris Elba, I'm going to go, that's a handsome guy, and that's Stringer fucking Bell right there. All the other accolades that came into him, like, nah.
He's not Bloodsport, nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, none of that. Bloodsport, I'm like, he was fine in Suicide. I'm like, yeah, but that's still, I'm like, that's what happened if Stringer Bell would have lived. It's not a spoiler. Show's been out for 25 years. I'm sorry. But that's literally what happened. He would have left Baltimore. He would ace up on Avon, and then he would just head out and just gone and do some other stuff. But, what happened was players leave, game stays the game. Oh, I want to watch The Wire. Oh, I want to watch The Wire.
Rest in peace, Michael K. Williams.
Yeah, Omar, man, that shit, so good, so good. But yeah, so I don't know who they would have casted, and did they at least play Peach? Do you hear her?
No, you hear everybody. Taylor. You hear everybody.
How does she sound?
She's fine. I think she's more of she's not like, oh, this is like, she's not that. She's more of a like, you go girl, that type of thing. Not like
strong,
Daisy.
Assertive woman.
Yeah, strong, assertive version of Peach. Okay, not like
which
Daisy,
is fine. So she's Smash Bros. Yeah, she's Smash Bros. Peach.
Exactly. Yeah, more. Yeah, but she did fine as the voice of that. Charlie sounds like Charlie as Luigi.
But it's perfectly fine.
But that voice is perfect for a sidekick character.
Also, you and I are very biased.
Yeah.
I don't know how Andrew deals with us.
Of course, Charlie sounds like Charlie in every single thing he's in. So his voice is very distinct.
But I don't know how he deals with us, because when we're on a Sunny binge, and we'll just know, when it's a Sunny binge, because we'll just say something stupid and go from there. Because for the viewers out there, Andrew tried to get into Sunny, and he got like 4 episodes, and he's like, "What? This is stupid." I'm like, "We know."
Yeah, they're like the worst people on earth. It's great.
Yeah, no one's like him, and he's not even season 2 yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, it gets better. It gets so much better.
You want to know what episode?
Yeah, season 1, that Danny DeVito's not even in it. So,
you know what I think? The episode that would break Andrew to make him say, "All right, this show is stupid."
Yeah,
but the show, I mean, granted, sometimes there's different things happen to you and get from there. But once we get to Fat Mac, once we get to the high school reunion episode. Yeah. Because there's 2 things from that episode that I cannot legitimately watch without dying of laughter. Obviously, is where Dennis cannot deal with the fact that he has peaked. Yeah. And he goes, "I got my tools." Oh, and God.
I love how he just completely devolves into just freaking maniac. I need my tools.
Yeah, he is also. It's going to be that breaks him, and the other thing that's going to break him is Mac in his mind thinking everything is going straight because they all get high or drunk or whatever, and then it cuts him in this. They're doing this beautiful song and dance duet, and then all of a sudden it just goes like, with his belly coming out and his like Panama Jack, and I can't stop. Every time I'm thinking about that. Of course, anything with cricket.
Yeah.
Anything with cricket,
I think
will always get me.
The first 2 episodes I showed my dad because I really wanted my dad to like the show. The first 2 and my sister. The first 2 I showed them was the gang goes to dinner.
Is that the one where they're staring at each other?
Yes, that one.
I love that episode.
It's a good opener episode because it's way too over the top, but at the same time you get a peek at all of their personalities there.
It's when they had a little bit more of their humanity.
Yeah,
I would say.
And it's it's a bottle episode because it's all within one little area. So there's that, and how they deal with people on the outside, with the waiter and everything like that. So there's that.
Oh, I love it's always the water. You got what's the fish of the day?
Yeah. So there's that, and then so there's that one, and then the second one I showed them was the one where they reenact the breaking of the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, one's good.
And they're all in a Revolutionary War attire and everything like that. That's a good one to show them.
Everybody loves Charlie work, but I think you have to be several seasons in.
Yeah, because you have to know the dynamic of Charlie himself. So that one's not bad either. And the other one that's good is the one the Extreme Home Makeover.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
Of course, the Maureen Ponderosa Wedding Massacre is top 5. Because anytime the McPoyles are on, I'm in.
Yeah, and that episode leads into other plot points in the future, which is also great.
Well, Papa McPoyle, which is Guillermo del Toro, just chilling in the background.
Yeah, because he's a massive fan of the show.
And I haven't watched any of the new seasons, but I have YouTubed the new seasons. So I've seen certain clips, and then when Sonny is objectively right in his satire, it is cutting, and the latest seasons are more reflective. For some people, it works like the prior season. I think that you got finally the backstory of how the the other places have they try to they show the backstory of how they got to Patty's and everything.
Yeah.
The first season's a little rough, but once Danny goes in there, it's fine. You know what I think would either, what episode would show Andrew who he really is as a person? Because if you do not laugh at this episode, you're lying. It's the episode where they go to the water park, and Danny DeVito gets he finds out the fast pass way of how to get to the water park, and then when you get the guy's like, everybody out, the pool, stuff like that, that's when you crack up. But it's such a good episode. And then Rumham is always an episode to show people too. Rumham is the episode that you were like,
the Jersey Shore one.
Yeah. Do you want to see the debauchery of the show? Why it's stupid?
Lord, those homeless guys.
Because truthfully, Rumham, and that's why I refer, is the sequel to, in my opinion, Dennis and Dee Get Addicted to Crack.
Yeah.
Think on it, because they're addicted to crack in that one, and they become addicted to heroin.
Yeah.
In the other one, in that episode. So I'm like, this is just the causal link.
Yeah.
This is the causal link. But yeah, so we really went down south on this one with Sonny. Oh man, we talked about getting off the rails.
It's good. Oh no, it's fantastic. Yeah.
We went down that rabbit hole too hardcore. So this episode we should just retitle as getting Andrew to like what we like.
Yeah.
We love him, but we want to love him.
Yeah.
As if he was one of
what
us.
What we do in
He's the moral compass.
Yeah. What we do in the shadows, I think he could get into.
The Jersey Devil episode. My God. I said to you, that's how you know I was in to win, because the Best Buy season 3 I think is the best season, but I think that's because they really found their groove and there was just a lot of memorable stuff. The Best Buy episode to me was just terrific. So what you're telling me, Judy, is that 5.1 is not 7.1. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, bro. That's me every time we Best Buy. But when you got to the Jersey, I wasn't liking season 4 because I thought they really took a step back with Nandor, because him and his obsessions from having the perfect wife and then debasing her by the genie, which is my inner, my non-abusive self would not like this, in that sense. But he's come around a little bit. I think that Jersey Devil episode was good for that kind of character over Nandor. But then the minute the Jersey Devil's out there and they're fighting, and then Colin's just like, I'm going to play hey Siri, play some Jersey music. I know where it was going. And I was like, they effing did it. And they just get it. And I'm chuckling. And then once the devil starts just cracking up. Now, once the devil starts singing the lyrics, I was coughing on my spit. It's the most stupidest perfect scene I have ever seen on premium television. And here's the thing, I'll give it this. FXX knows what I want because they broadcast both that and Sunny, right? So it's like they understand what I need. He might like it. He should watch it. I don't know if anybody ever watches this stuff that we send into the group chat, but we're gonna convert him. We're gonna take our boy, and we're gonna debase him. We're gonna debase him like crack on a spoon or cocaine on a spoon.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna be worse. He's gonna be worse. He's gonna come in. He's gonna have a different attitude, different attire. We're getting Seattle Andrew. I think heroin's legal there. No, that's Oregon. It's
I hear. Are you back there, Andrew? I see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Oh, hey. So what's your thoughts on heroin?
He's gonna be like, "What the hell did you guys talk about for an hour?"
We're gonna rechange it to be the we want to have Andrew more like us episode, and when you listen to it, you're gonna understand why.
Mm-hmm. How you doing?
Okay. Doing all right. It's been another long day of moving, but still more work to do. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know how long we can be here, but we're at the halfway point, so we can do a word from our non-sponsors. I mean,
I've got a couple of minutes. I really have enough to do a non-sponsor.
All right,
pretty
people,
much.
Places, things, concept, what have you. We've been enjoying over last week, but Andrew, I guess you can go first because I feel like you have something already in mind.
I actually have two. I have two. First, I'll start with Francisco, who was a huge asset and unbelievable help this weekend, getting a lot of heavy stuff out of my apartment for the current move. It's not even pending. It is currently happening. Very appreciative of that, and I'm looking forward to being able to do something to pay him back at some point. And then, speaking of paying back, my secondary non-sponsor is Francisco and Charles.
Hey.
You guys probably saw this coming from a mile away, unlike the gift that you gave me, which I didn't see coming whatsoever. Although apparently Francisco said that you were...
Charles was leaving clues like heavily.
Oh yeah, Andrew, I was literally sitting in the chat deals specifically about Black Friday for Switch and only Switch. And then I was doing the eye emojis, doing stuff like that. And there was a point where I had sent a Splatoon, solely Splatoon, I think, right, Francisco? There, and both of us already had it. Mm-hmm. So I he's better at the secrets than me because I was just like, just tell him we have it so he can just buy whatever he wants to buy if he's gonna buy a physical cartridge, because sometimes the prices go back up real quickly. But I think there's a good game plan that was made where you have to kind of figure out what you like. It's like we took you to the buffet, baby, and then you get to eat your food.
Nah, I didn't see that coming from a mile away. I didn't see that coming whatsoever. And I guess I actually haven't quite said, or I haven't said at all what the gift was, but I don't know. Would you consider this a going away present or a friend present? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why on earth you would do this, but
I say happy Hanukkah. So I think that's actually what I sent to Francisco.
Yeah, on
Venmo. I'll go from there.
All right. But so it's probably the best Hanukkah present I've ever gotten.
Ha! I win.
We win.
Well, for what it's worth, guys, I will mention that. Well, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to downplay what you got me. But Francisco and Charles got me a Nintendo Switch. It was funny how it happened. I picked up Francisco to help me move, and he had this box with him.
Yeah, my car tire got a flat, so I had to replace it.
So, I mean, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have been nosy and say, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
going full. Was it Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Going full Brad Pitt there. I don't know. I shouldn't have been that nosy. But something struck me as weird when he said, "Here, open it up." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
then
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. What the hell did I put in here,
So it appears a Nintendo Switch, and I start crying, which apparently Charles predicted would happen.
I did.
For the record, though, it wasn't full-on sobbing crying. Not that that would be a bad thing, but it was kind of like one of those manly tear meme. Like I was speechless. I honestly still am speechless. Something that I
design. Tell them about the design. Because this
it's what ultimately gave it away, because it could have just been my Switch, if it would just look like a normal one.
Honestly, no, because I saw the Switch and I figured, well, no, it didn't look like your Switch. You're right. So it is the controllers or I don't know what you call those.
Yeah, they're controllers.
We got Joy-Cons. We gotta teach this boy.
Yeah.
How do I teach these kids, man?
Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So the Joy-Cons are this kind of dark gray.
They bring you joy, Andrew. Oh.
The Joy-Cons are this gray, almost like an anthracite, very dark gray. And all the buttons are a metallic gold. The back plate is a metallic gold. And then on the back plate is a UCF logo decal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
sexy as fuck, y'all.
Yeah,
it is sexy as fuck.
I'm trying to find the pictures I took of it.
Nintendo couldn't top that. Nintendo called Francis, because Andrew, you've been missing. We've been attacked multiple times in this chat for the podcast because I was talking trash about soccer after the US win and I got kicked, and then Francisco almost died on Fruity Pebbles insulting something. So you're saying Nintendo's gonna come out and send like the sniper, or they're gonna just blacklist Francisco right now, but they can't do better than what he has.
Yep.
So I still honestly do not know what to say.
Yeah, I'm putting it up on the screen for anybody who wants to see it, but there it is. Any UCF fans out there, you're going to be so jelly.
On the front
end,
I just Zelda, but no, it's sexy.
Dude, have you posted this on Reddit? I want people to be like, "What the whoa?"
I will. Once I get done with this godforsaken move, I will.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, this doesn't change away how I feel. I love you guys. You guys are like brothers to me. It's not like it's not like you leveled up because of this, but, I thank you. I don't really have words beyond that. I more than anything, I'm just happy that I'll be able to play games with you guys now that I'm going to be across the country, and then even when I move back to Florida, it's not going to be in South Florida. My time in South Florida is probably done. So being able to I love doing the podcast. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy talking with you guys. But I don't know. There's something to be said about being able to play a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a camaraderie, whatever. Hey, I told you, I was talking about it. We
have a separate game chat, Andrew, when we play Splatfest.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just very happy you can be part of that. And I am crass in that
Seriously.
chat. I am offensive as fuck.
Yeah. It is great.
I'm looking forward to that.
We're just talking. Everybody's peasants before us.
God, the gifts. Raise your fingers because we're the ones.
There's always like a theme. There's always a theme too. Like we always have like there's always like a different theme for whatever reason. Charles, for the most part, is like with the Usos type of thing, which is great. But sometimes I don't know. I'm like a chef. That was like Emerald Lagasse. I was posting like Emerald Lagasse gifts. Like bam.
Okay. And then when I'm angry, I always have the sad Gohan face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be part of that now, Andrew.
Get Splatoon 3. That's if you're gonna get a cartridge game, get that. That's because I'm on there almost every night.
If you suck at it, we will carry you.
Yeah.
You cannot be as. I'm telling everybody right now on Twitch.
It's not like Rocket League.
I'm telling everybody right now on Twitch. If you think we can't carry you,
we can.
You know, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs, but I can carry you. I will Samwise Gamgee you. I'll go and say, I can't hold it for you, Mr. Frodo, but I can carry you, and I will get that done. That man over there, Francisco, will get that done.
One of the few games I am legitimately good at.
I'm
okay at everything else, but I'm legitimately good at Splatoon.
I'm looking at Amazon right now. Okay, I got to continue it because I'm going to go on the deep end.
Yeah. But Andrew, any closing thoughts?
It's still $45. Still $45 on Amazon, Andrew. Right then and there.
That's.
I got so excited, I hit my hand kind of hard right now.
So, final thoughts. I'm happy beyond belief, and I truly appreciate you guys, and thank you for being there for me.
I thought we were gonna being a friend. Could have started singing.
But it's true though. You guys, despite your insanity at times, looking at you, Charles.
No, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
You guys are my best friends, and I thank you for just being my friend, and I thank you for this incredible gift, and I can't wait to get started on Splatoon with you guys and ultimately shit the bed initially. I'll need you guys to carry me.
I mean, it is probably the most... It is the most.
Is that a Paul Pierce reference?
It is the most simplistic game you can think of because there's something that calls to you as a male to want to spread your ink everywhere, right? And that's how I felt a calling to Splatoon. Am I lying? No, because it all makes sense. Whereas some people care about KD ratio. You're like, I gotta spill my green all over here, man, and it figures out. You just gotta find the right weapon. Well, N95, that would be your first, or Splatter Shot Junior. Either of those will be your first ones, and then we'll just come along, man. It's okay.
He when we were doing the move, he was talking to me about Splatoon, like, what's the support classes and things like that. I'm like, hey man, if you
you're the support.
if you can master being like a sniper or anything like that, you're like
good on you.
Yeah, you're a commodity right there, very rare commodity that like. Because snipers and blasters seem to neutralize me very much so, if they're good at it. So, but anyways, yeah. So, yeah, whenever you can, get Splatoon. Because I will most definitely... That game, because it just came out, it's going to be Splatfest and everything for at least a year. And probably next year we'll get DLC that's, like, significant for, like a single-player story or something like that.
We have Chill Season.
Yeah, Chill Season's happening. It's happening, December 1st, right? So
no, I thought it was December 9th.
So something's coming out December 1st at the very least. So or at least the update for it, and I guess
they're doing the update for it.
Yeah. Okay, so it'll activate that weekend, I guess. Okay. Either way, it's happening. It's happening this weekend. Yeah. So we'll be good with that eventually, and yeah, no, I said I felt kind of jealous because you have so many options with the Switch because there's so many games on there. And not just like games from like this generation, it's like past generations. Like you're asking about BioShock, they got the Assassin's Creed collections. There's a bunch of compilations on the Switch, which is great, right? You got Cowabunga, you got Contra, you got Castlevania, Mega Man, Sonic.
Cowabunga collections, Shredder's Revenge.
Well, actually, he has Sega Genesis with me, and we can play Contra because one of the Contras is on the Genesis. and Streets of Rage, which will be fun for us to play. So there's that. So there's a ton of compilations on the Switch of like these games that you might have missed on the PS3 or 360, which is basically what I've been getting on PC lately as well. So yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff we could play for sure. But modern stuff, yeah, the Splatoon, you know, you can't go wrong with that, especially for me. And then all the free-to-play stuff. I want you to get that memory card so we can play Warframe, because I feel like I really want to play that with somebody that I know instead of randos. Alrighty.
So, trying to think of a promo code. Manly Tier.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna go with level up.
Yeah.
Shit.
And Charles, I did not think of Splatoon as a natural urge to spread my seed.
But now that you've heard it, you know I'm 100% correct.
I mean, they've only
on Turf War.
There's only been one Splatfest where they used the white ink, so I'm just saying. I think it was the last one in Splatoon 2. Oh man. Anyways, they I guess what was I doing? Oh yeah, I guess it's my turn. I'll do some.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right.
I need to run, guys. Unfortunately.
All right. My non-sponsor is you, by the way.
What's that?
My non-sponsor was you, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, for picking me up from the tire shop.
Thank you for being a friend.
My tire went out. I went to Firestone, and luckily they were able to replace it that day instead of waiting whatever. So, but you picked me up instead of having to pay an Uber, which would have been way more expensive. So,
I mean, I'm not 100% sure why I would be the non-sponsor for that, because you're the one doing me a favor.
But I know, but still, I either way. Anyways, but man, why question it? There you go.
Okay.
Alrighty. All right, dude.
All right.
Have fun with the.
I'll give you guys a call on whatever the first or second is.
Okay.
Because at that point we'll probably be settled in.
All right, group chat, whatever. And if you want to play Switch, I'll probably be online playing something.
All right, you got it.
All right.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
I think I'm just jealous of the fact that you guys actually play on certain days, and I have to be that person who parses it out so much.
He only played the couple nights ago, the first night of the Switch that he had it. And then he hasn't, he's been moving, all that stuff, and you know me, I get home and I Splatoon is my decompressing from work. That's been my thing. I'm so glad it's been I play something at the very least, but I still, I have to get into Yakuza again. I really do. I really want to. So, all right, man, what do you got?
This is hard, and I think I did the same cop out as I did last year. But I'm going to go with it anyway. Some people hate Black Friday. They hate people kind of like budging against each other, doing a lot of issues. I love Black Friday. I love Black Friday, not because of the fact that the deals I get are really discounted rates. Not all of them are discounted rates. But it's the fact that I know that there's a particular time of the year, 2 days out of the year, essentially, because now it's Thursday. You order online on Thursday, you get it on Friday, and some deals get to Saturday. You're lucky to get there Sunday. Where I'm actually just saving my money. Black Friday as an impulse is never really an impulse because you're scouting that. You're figuring out your funds. You don't wake up one day and go like, I spent $600. But man, I put in some work. And I put in that work, man, because I was everywhere and everywhere.
People do not know the efforts this man. Andrew, okay, so he was talking to me about like the Switch and like memory cards and things like that. I'm like, he's like, yeah, what are you thinking? You think Best Buy? I'm like, dude, just ask Charles. He will find you the best deals.
Yeah, and then God knows, like with me, when you said, I think he needs a memory card, I already had that on lock. I'm like, I got the sights, I got the sounds, because we gave it to Cheap Ass Gamer. And thank you, Cheap Ass Gamer, again. Follow us on the Twitter, Charles is True. Follow him on the Twitter, Cheap Ass Gamer. Damn, Frijoles, FJOJR, Sports Goofs. Always get the shout out. But there was things in there that I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep this going. But I put in that work. I got 3 video games for $2.28.
Woo!
I got Sonic Frontiers, I got Cowabunga Collection, and I got Sifu. And I'm picking up Sifu later this week. 3 video games. And I felt compelled to buy other stuff, but I was like, I can wait. There's some new games coming out in December. I got Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin because I had a $25 gift card, so it was on sale at not Best Buy, Barnes & Nobles for $25, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just get that. So I got a full graphic novel for free, and because the thing is that the non-discounted price is like 30 something. Macy's, and this is a little bit of non-sponsor. I buy my shirts and my pants there. When gentlemen and ladies, when you know your size, keep to that size. When you know the brand that makes the best cut of the cloth, because you're the best cut of the cloth, you make sure you keep to that. Macy's, I got a Michael Kors shirt for $40. I already had the same shirt, but I got the second replica of it, so I could just change. That's how much I like that color and that pattern. I got new pants. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see if it takes us. They messed up on the order, Francisco. I just got it today, and this is the luck of the Trujillo, and it bothers me. I sent to the group chat, a different group chat, and they were all like, "Jesus Christ, man, Francisco, the pants are still processing, but I got the shirt, and they mistakenly gave me a Samsonite business backpack. So I got a $80 backpack for free, essentially. I if I'm lying, I'm dying. I'll send you a picture of it in the chat to take a peek at.
Yeah.
And can you believe that? I can't believe it. And then most importantly, your boy's a stud. I don't know how to say anything else besides that. I am unfortunately an ace in this game, and when you're an ace in the game, you have to go do public settings. I went to the bench bar conference. I've done bar presentations. I meet with the inner communities. There's other things I'm going to come into. And then sometimes, you have to ask yourself, who do you want to be in mantra? And you know who you always want to be in mantra, Francisco? You never, ever, ever, and I love this man. I love this man so much, but you never go as the Big Red. You never go as the Andy Reid. You go as the Pat Riley. What's the Pat Riley?
Yeah.
You wear the black jacket, the good tie, the black pants, to quote The Wire, when it's, they were playing East Side, West Side basketball, and Avon goes to Proposition Joe. He's like, what are you looking like Pat Riley for? It's 80 fucking degrees out here. And Prop Joe goes, look the part, be the part, motherfucker. That is sometimes there. So I went suit shopping. The last suit I bought, and this is going to be my shout out. So it's like a convergence of both Black Friday and who I'm about to give a shout out to. So my last suit shopping event, the last suit I bought was like 4 years ago at Express, and I got a gray to go from there. But the blue I got from Express 5-6 years ago was at my sister's wedding. I cut a little bit fat. I'm more slim now. COVID, when pandemic, I did more cardio. But I bulked back up so I can go from there. So, I needed a new black jacket because the last line of black jackets I bought was my final year of law school, and that was 8 years ago, and I can definitely tell you now I cut that weight. Yeah. And you remember how I was fine then, but girl, let me tell you. But it was a different it was a watermelon. All right, it was a watermelon. So I'm sick of wearing gray and black there all the time, and I had to update the blue a little bit. So I got a new black jacket, I got a new blue jacket, and I bought the comparable blue pants. They didn't have the slim fit, which is fine. No one needs to see the divider sign at work. I'm sorry, I apologize. We went for the classic fit, and if you don't know what the divider sign is, look that up. I'm not telling you. So we got there. So I got two suits for $150 a piece, and the pants for like 60 something, and it cost around like $360 at that sense. So my non-sponsor 2 degrees Black Friday and me for shopping, but also Express. I like the clothing I get there. It's higher up because the quality of where I used to get like suits, everything like that, would it be JCPenney's or because I used to get it at Penny's and I thought Penny's was fine, but I've noticed the quality has dropped a little bit. I think it's because they do the outsource. They have the stray hands and you have like Shaq, stuff like that. Andrew had mentioned it and it caught up the thing, but I know what I'm comfortable with because I think they do good slim cut clothing, and I'm a tiny guy. I'm 5'7" now. I weigh like $160 with more muscle than anything else. So I don't want to be this slovenly looking sumbitch out there, especially since I'm not really. I'm always in the court. Mm-hmm. God knows I'm always in court, but now I'm doing public engagements. Now I'm doing CLA presentations, and there's an image. And even though right now as we speak, I'm wearing gray sweats and my SpongeBob SquarePants Christmas shirt. That's who I am in here. I can't be out there in that sense. So I'm comfy here, but I got to be comfortably uncomfortable in my outside presentation. And some people, might say, oh, it's more chic, it's more modern, it's a little bit different. It's not as pricey as you think it is. You got to get when it's on sales, but it beats out going to Dillard's or going to Macy's where the suit jackets, Ralph Lauren's like $600. And, for us, I was talking to my friend about it. My suit jackets are going to be used 3 to 4 times out of the week. Right, it might change now to the judges rotating out, so I might be in court 5 days out of the week. Oh God, 4 at least. So I want something that's going to have longevity, as opposed to, something that's for the flash show. If you're only going to wear it one time and it's your only good suit jacket, buy the $300 suit, buy the $500 suit. By all means, I'm going to encourage you to treat yourself and take care of yourself and love yourself in that sense. But if you're talking about day to day, and that's why I got black and that's why I got navy. One of my coworkers was like, oh, you got new things? What did you get? And they haven't come in yet. I can't wait to try them on because if they don't fit, I'm going to return them. 38 slim. That's where you want. 36 was a little bit too snug. Don't want to pop no buttons. Will not flex on these people in court. But they're like, you got navy and black, did you? I'm like, absolutely I did. I'm like, you know this. Because I tried a burgundy one time. It did not come out well. The top was great, but the problem is the bottom made me look like I was cosplaying as Cesar Romero's Joker. But, when you have good style, coupons are very plenty. They're good gifts to go into it. They do have a decent men's section. My boys who are big and tall, I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. There's other options. They are more like slender fit or more
extra slim and classic. That's what they got.
Well, listen, gentlemen, none of you ever have to wear an extra slim pants. We do not need to see what dreams may come showing. And I have sometimes been a consequence of that because I don't read it. I put it on once, it seems fine, and then I put my stuff in my I have 2 phones and I got my wallet and my keys, and sometimes everything be shown. And we don't need that happen. I've also had the regular t-shirts. Every now and then they have the right kind of cup. So if you're kind of lower, like muscular build and fine like that or slim, go to Express. The deals were good, man. And I was telling my buddies to get 2 suit jackets and pants for like $360, and I used a coupon because I went on Retail Me Not, found a coupon that knocked off additional $18. So I got the free shipping, and I got free shipping. All that stuff. Yeah, and I also sometimes get my ties there. Ties I'll buy anywhere, to be honest with you. Ties don't matter. I'm like, if that shit looks good, I'm fine. Suits, I'm very hesitant on because it's not that I've had bad suits before, but I've tried to have like that expensive looking suit that's like $250, and I'm like, I don't like the material of it, and that's it. And I need it because I had a lot of weddings the last couple of years. I had them getting resized every time, and you can only go smaller so much before the shoulder. It's really the shoulder pads that you can't modify that portion, unfortunately. So my kind of hybrid non-sponsors, Black Friday, myself of course, and Express. You gotta go from there. You deserve it. You gotta treat yourself. You gotta do the right clothing, and most importantly, you gotta make it fit you. Promo code Level Up. We'll call it Level Up.
Yeah. Keep with the gaming theme. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah. Man, I gotta get back to exercising, man. I swear. I know. I'm gonna lose weight.
Well, with this dog. So with this dog, it's high in energy. Mm-hmm. So my father got a puppy, kids. So I started walking her because she's only not even 5 months. She's 5 months next week, and then so I started walking her last night. And I'm gonna walk her after the show. And I do enough cardio as it is, man. My knees are achy though. I don't run any. I'm taking until the end of the year to go back to the treadmill. Like January 1st, I go back there because I hurt my knee really badly. I told you that. But then my other dog, Max, who's like 11, he got really fat since Byron died because you got 3 people now solely give him food and we don't know anybody's schedule. So I'm like, hey, buddy. So I took her for 20 minutes and tuckered her out, and I took him for like 10, and he's huffing puffing, but he liked it. So, I'm going to be cutting that weight. That cardio isn't coming. But, you do it at your pace, baby. And if you can't get clothes for you at Express, we can get you clothes for you elsewhere. But you got to look good. You got to level up. Be the part, look the part. Pat Riley.
I've been looking at my wardrobe as well because you got it in this game. And my suits, man.
Unfortunately, I hate that. It's just a pressured cooked, kind of mentality. I haven't bought a
suit since I got into law school. Honestly, I really haven't. So, but I don't want to invest in something if I'm going to invest in myself at this point with my body. So but I need to actually stick with it and not do the whole Jonah Hill fluctuating thing anymore. But we'll get there. As soon as I actually start prioritizing and be like, you know what, I won't play Yakuza. I'll actually go outside.
Well, you're gonna see Kiryu being all cut and shit, so that you're gonna be like,
that's true. Man, all those guys are cut. Even the
even the fat guys are cut.
Yeah, even the bosses, the old guys. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it for us. We're at an hour and 28 minutes. So let's hop on aboard the petty train, everybody.
This is gonna be a bitter one.
Let's go to some NFL. Alrighty. So let's start with let's see where do we start here with. Hold on, let's see more. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we'll start the Bills and Lions on Thanksgiving.
Frauds.
Damn it, Detroit. Dan Campbell, that clock management was awful. You had him.
Jeff Saturday, terrible.
Oh no, we'll get to that. But you had Buffalo. You could have beaten them. That I was very disappointed. Everybody was rooting for you, but Detroit's just man, that's no good, no bueno. There you go with that. The Giants and the Cowboys also played on Thanksgiving.
Snooze fest.
Yeah.
The Giant ship has sailed with relevancy.
Yep. So one of the worst teams with a winning record right now. So.
Everybody wanted to give Brian Dabble the coach of the year. I'm like, okay. But, taking a fledgling franchise, because here's the difference between them and, let's say, the Dan Campbells. The Dan Campbells really have no talent.
Yeah.
Right? They legitimately have Amon St. Brown's good, or Amon St. Brown's good. Amon-Ra St. Brown is good. Jeff Okuda's coming around. Jared Goff, I like. He's not a superstar, but he's doable. Mm-hmm. Everything else is injured. Hurt. Aiden Hutchinson's going to be a stud. But then when you look at, New York, it's you really, put a basket case of product, high-quality product. You are, this is incendiary. You are a Domino's Pizza commercial where the pizza looks good, and then the product that you get when you look at it is just kind of I guess, fine.
Kind of looks similar.
Because you had Daniel Jones, Dabble, and Daniel Jones is probably, you had Saquon, Kenny Galladay, that didn't come to fruition, obviously. Wendell Robinson, he got hurt. And I acknowledge your injuries, but injuries happen. It's unfortunate. But then you have everybody on the other side of it. And I'm like, So I'm kind of done with the Giants hype. I'm done with the Giants love. I was like, and my buddy's a Giants fan, and good for him for having it. But you looked the most fraudulent out of everybody in NFC East. I think legitimately the Washington Commanders are more
talented,
concerning as a team to be against versus y'all in that sense. And that's just how it is.
New England and Minnesota. That was the other Thanksgiving game.
New England's going to be good in a year.
They'll be fine. Yeah.
Be afraid. Be afraid because you're getting this with a bunch of people that have not arrived yet.
Yeah.
You're literally Devontae Parker's there. Devontae Parker's just a body, man. And they have Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar is just a body, man. Yeah. Kendrick Bourne, just a body. But once they, that meme when it says, once I get my stuff over, when I get my shit say it's over for you people, that's how it feels. Bill's just testing the water. It's like, look, I've had 3 years with no Tom. I'm going to figure out the team that I want, and then I'm going to retire in the 3 years following. And it really feels that way. And then Minnesota, that's a good win for them. Justin Jefferson's amazing. Kirk Cousins, you can't read it. You don't know it. I think I would be more concerned that Dalvin Cook's kind of frozen a little bit. But at the end of the day, if they stay healthy, a lot of people can be playing through Minnesota as opposed to them playing you.
Yeah, that's true. Next, all right. The Dolphins beat the Texans. All right. Well,
I agree with your sentiments. I'll yield the petty trade to you, Conductor Francisco.
Well, so congrats, everybody. The Dolphins went through the easiest part of the schedule and won all the games. So congratulations. They did what they needed to do. All right, fine. Sure. But everybody's coming at me with all these things and all these stats. All the Dolphins fans are posting all the takes and everything like that. Everybody on the Tua and on the craze that's going on. Fine. You know what? Tua, he's done fine thus far. Well, okay. Now, they never seem to ever point out the games that matter and how Tua does there. Okay? Tua does fine in garbage time and against these soft teams, these soft belly teams right here.
Bro, this backpack was $120 on Amazon. That Trujillo luck, man. Holy shit. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just looked at it because I was curious.
So Tua does fine there. Okay, I'll give that to you. All right, sure. He's accurate, whatever. Can't throw the deep ball. Who cares? He's got those guys. All right, whatever. But now comes the real test. The real games are finally starting. Next week, San Francisco in San Fran or Santa Clara, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's one. And then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, who seem to be trying to put it back together now. They might be getting on a roll in LA. So there you go there. But, of course, there's no Chargers fans. They don't exist. And then you have Buffalo in Buffalo, maybe. You would think, unless it's super snowy. So there's that as well. Then they come back home. You get Aaron Rodgers. We'll see if he's completely checked out by then. Okay. But if the Packers run some sort of table to try and nab a final spot. Maybe you might get an Aaron Rodgers, or maybe you might get Jordan Love trying to make a name for himself and get his
love child,
get his statement victory. And wouldn't that be fun to do it on the road against Miami if Aaron Rodgers is completely checked out or if he's injured? So there's that. Then you got the Patriots. You got old Bill Belichick in New England, and he's because everybody's been throwing out Tua's undefeated against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has been keeping tabs. He's been building. He's been building his doom machine ever since Tom Brady left. He's been building it up slowly but surely. He's been more personable in his press conferences because he knows he's about to get that. He's about to get that. And wouldn't that be nice to get that with a statement victory against possibly the Dolphins win the AFC East by that point? Maybe if they can beat Buffalo, but who knows? But if he can do that and the Patriots suddenly turn the tables, that could happen. And it's in New England, so the Dolphins don't do so well in the cold weather there. So there you go. And then you have the New York Jets, who are actually competent this year to finalize their season. And the Jets probably are trying to fight for a playoff spot, and they've already beaten the Dolphins this season. So let's see what happens when Tua actually has to play real games for once. Because last year he tried to play a real game against, was it Titans?
It was the Titans, and that's why I knew he's not the guy.
Yeah.
Because he was just throwing screwballs in the ground when there was pressure and people who didn't let receivers break open. Remember, we pounced on y'all when you had Waddle and Gesicki going at it. And I'm going to comment lightly. I like Waddle. What I'm about to say is not an indictment on the guy. But I don't see anything that's a substantial increase of talent the way I saw Justin Jefferson go from year 1 to year 2, if that's fair. Because it's schematically kind of the same. And, Tyreek has taken a lot of it. He'll break 1,000 yards. That'll be very impressive. But remember, there was always a Chad Ochocinco and a TJ Hushmanzada. And Hush only got kind of like that advancement because of Chad a little bit. That's just my 2 cents on it. And I like Waddle. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that you need other players to elevate the quarterbacks no matter what. If they're great or even they're trash, you still need other players around to elevate. And I think, what I actually think is going to hurt you guys? You're too reliant on Tyreek, Waddle, and Raheem Mostert. Yeah. Gesicki is a stud, and he's not there. You don't really have a 3 and a 4 as a receiver, but then that's also why you got homeboy Jeff Wilson to kind of be outside the back as well, and Mostert can take it to the house too. But when you play playoffs, you have 17 games of tape on receivers. Mm-hmm. You know what you could do and go from there and who to double, not double. And I think the losses are kind of tough to judge because did Tua even really lose a game before he got injured?
No, he got injured in the Bengals game, and that's the loss there. And then the rest were,
Teddy and Skyler. So that's the whole thing, and the competition has been.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like Buffalo. They got Buffalo, and Buffalo. It was Buffalo. Like I said, Buffalo. It was not that the Dolphins won those games. Buffalo lost that game, and Baltimore lost that game. So I can't even really say that those are actual like legitimate. Let's see him actually play a game that's grinding and see what happens. So let's see Jimmy G's and he's going to be incredibly sexy and handsome, and see if he can actually deal with that across the field. So all right. Well, so that's the Dolphins. Next, here we go. The Bengals and the Titans.
You know what this season has taught me?
Oh, boy.
Can I explain to you what this season has taught me? Can you? Well, you know what? Shit, I'm going to say it now because it was kind of wrong what I said in the group chat. But
I laughed when Andrew read it to me when we were moving and stuff, and I'm like...
So I'm going to say it right now. Y'all know what my issues with Mike Vrabel gets to keep his job because he pounced Aaron Rodgers on national TV on Amazon, and for that he gets to stay the OC. That was not indicative of Todd Downing, the OC whatsoever. I wish the bond did not. I wish the judge did not issue a bond for his DUI arrest, so I could see what an offense would look like without him calling plays. And mind you, there were some missed opportunities, but why can't we just beat the Bengals? It's literally the same score as the playoff game or close to it. What is it? Henry is also not running well when everybody's packing the line. It's not old age. It's not wear and tear. The 2000, he's still the best rusher in the league. Josh Jacobs aside, who's impressing me. But like we have to have the diversity, and this was the problem. Are we a team that can score 30 points? Sure. You never know what you got until you try it. I like Traylon Burks has come along, but you know what this season has taught me? I think we're legitimately better than the teams that are supposed to be the best. We had Kansas City and we got cute.
Yep.
We had the Bengals and we were cute. We did not have Buffalo, but Buffalo's on the downward trend because Allen is injured. And now no one's calling Buffalo, which means they're going to win it all, right? But I feel like we can match up with everybody. We just can't finalize, and we can't finish when it comes to that effing fourth quarter. And I understand everybody's gassed, but you got to switch up certain things.
Have you guys had your bye week?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oof.
And so that's the whole thing. Luckily, we're in the AFC South where everybody lost.
You had a default. Yeah.
Jacksonville beating Baltimore doesn't mean anything unless we really go on the decline. But it's just like, come on, man. Like, I feel like and when I did my predictions, I had us winning this game like in the beginning of the season because I charted out and I had us going 11-6 on a good day with 12-5. You always add 2 and take away 2. So 9-8 was good enough to win the AFC South, and the max you get is like that 11-6, 12-5 kind of ratio. The rest of the games are like, in theory, super beatable for the season, but we're not chasing 1 seed because the 1 seed didn't do anything to begin with. And the thing is, if the way things ended now, if they end today, we might get the Bengals again. And I'm not going to lie, this could be the rivalry in the making that we want in sports because the AFC South has no legitimate feuds. The last feud that happened out of the AFC South was Cortland Finnegan getting his ass beat by Andre Johnson 10 years ago. That was the anniversary a couple of days ago. But there's nothing else. So, the idea that you can have intercom because you're always going to have Kansas and Buffalo feuding against each other.
For now, yeah. That's
I don't think there's anything wrong with having Bengals Titans, right? It could have been like Titans Ravens, but the Ravens have been off kilter because they just don't want to pay Lamar.
Yeah.
And they've been on the downward. But I think legitimately this could be, if we get them again in seed, man, you're going to remember the stuff. Oh, they lost last year. They lost again this year. What's going to be there? It'll invest people. But I don't like the fact that because I'm egotistical. And if I know I can – I'm hard on myself if I know I can't do – if I can do it. But let me rephrase it. I'm hard on myself if I know I can do it. I'm hard on myself when I know I can do it and I somehow come up short. And I want that team to carry that energy. So – Conductor Charlie, very disappointed in this team. But I finished out. Todd Downing, bro, you just couldn't be that blood alcohol just a little bit higher.
Ooh, yep. All right. The Panthers beat the Broncos.
I have 2 friends who are Broncos fans.
Oh, this is great.
And all I'm hearing is just half of it is just the hatred for Russ, and the other half is the hatred for Hackett. And the solution is always like they want them both gone. And I said some things in the chat that I would not say on air because it's definitely wrong. But like everybody seems to hate Russ, and I don't know if it's false optimism, but he reminds me of a serial killer now with the lack of emotional affect to losing and not getting frustrated and not realizing that he is a $200+ million quarterback who can't go more than 15 points a game. I think Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, and all these other people had more tears in their eyes when they were about to get executed. I think
there was that.
I legitimately think you have those people who showed more contrition for something they did wrong. And I'm not saying that Russell Wilson fleeced anybody. I'm saying that John Schneider and Pete Carroll fleeced the Broncos.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was a product of the fleecing because, he was told imitation leather. And for some reason, the Broncos establishment had the beer goggles on and they didn't see the word imitation because he's an imitation of a legitimate quarterback. Because you can't tell me it's the product of the people, but then it goes into the coach. And then you're looking at Nathaniel Hackett, who's like, well, I gave up play duties to the other guy because I wasn't doing well. I'm like, what kind of solution is this?
Yep.
This is like 2 people.
Well, I suck at this.
This is 2 people who live in the car who decide to have a baby and bring it into the world. That is the legit. But am I wrong?
Nope.
But am I wrong? In football analogies, that is what it is, and it's bad because you can't. I think I sent to the chat. You can't cut them. He has like $100 million cap the next couple of years, and dead money hits. You can definitely fire Hackett, but what if it isn't Hackett's the problem, but the team that you constructed around Russ is bad? You can't really get rid of people and try to accrue back your trades, because then it's all for naught. And then when you really realize and say, damn, why did we go for Russ when we should just trade for Jimmy Guap? If all he's going to do is try not to get hit and then like work on receivers and miss balls, so that's the whole knock on Jimmy, right? At that point, he was overpaid and he misses receivers. Well, shit. So it's really a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. And I kind of love it because we're not used to hating the Broncos, right? They've been bad for quite a while, but there's always like a sense of like, out of all the teams, you're like, they had Elway, they had Peyton. I don't hate them. They have Vaughn, and we love Vaughn. They had Champ Bailey. They had all these guys that came into it. They had John Lynch. I'm like, yeah, to a degree coming into it, yeah, sure, maybe we don't hate them. But now I'm just kind of like, fuck them. Because life is petty.
It was when they made the trade and everything like that, and they were just, I think they were way too arrogant beforehand. So
no one.
Let's ride. All right, let Russ cook. All that stuff.
And those weird, this sandwich of mine. I'm like, dude, first off, that looks like a wrap. And that's what I try to decipher.
It's Subway, by the way.
He's playing so badly, Sierra's going to go back to Future. That's where we're at right now. What Russ is going to come at me? Was he going to throw it by?
Oh, that was a better impression of Mario's voice than Chris Pratt ever did.
So I'm just surprised. And the one thing is, I think the reason why everybody hates the Broncos, because even Bronco fans and all the other fan bases amongst the league are like, y'all gave up too much for this man. All of them first. And this should be the lesson. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to part with 2 first-rounders for a superstar player. I'm not willing to part with 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, 2 fifth-rounders, and all this other stuff that came in.
Yeah.
As a GM, you got to say, no matter how desperate that person is, I got to build a succession plan.
Yeah.
So that's just my thoughts on the Broncos. And then for the Panthers, why were you guys waiting on Sam Darnold to begin with? He came back from IR a couple weeks ago, and you invested yourself to a couple weeks of Baker Mayfield. Like, Jesus Christ. And I rather just roll with Sam because the product of quality of payments that he's going to want. You can do an escalator with Baker. It's just not there. But just ride it out. Don't do PJ Walker. See what Darnold's coming in. When Darnold's going to have that 5-year option, you can give that 1 year, $12 million contract. And what's he going to do? Say no? Because who's going to be like, I want Sam Darnold? Who's going to be like, I want Baker Mayfield?
All right. The Jets beat the Bears.
Oh, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I did not see it in Zach Wilson. And we talked about it 3 shows ago.
Yeah.
We talked about 3 shows ago where we hate the fantasy draft predictors who predict draft spots, but for whatever reason, they think because the draft is going to mean success. And I watched one BYU game when Zach was there. I'm like, he's BYU. It's not doing anything the same way of the Clemens guy, the offensive coordinator for Dallas Cowboys. He was part of BYU, I think, or some boys. He won those 2. And I'm like, they were not there. Just this should be the lesson of scout better, because obviously you didn't scout at all and you took into the hype, because the Jets had an excellent draft this year, but you picked this man who can't even complete things, and yet Mike White from a 5th-round pick from Western Kentucky, like, I can go for 300 yards. And he's done that multiple times, too. That's what trips me up. It's not a practice squad team. It's not a team that's like, oh, we didn't know he's coming in, and we didn't scout him. I'm like, y'all had days ahead of time that Mike White was starting. And Mike White threw for 300 yards. Joe Flacco threw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
This man can't do it. And I understand the Bill Belichick concept of Bill's hard on people, but this was that was not an outlier. That is what Wilson had done. Could he get better? Sure. Look, after seeing Geno Smith play a contract year that deserves at least $40 million within the next 2 years, anything can improve. Geno's only 32. Quarterbacks have a long longevity, especially if they don't play. But how do you cut bait with that? And I love it. I love it. And for the Bears, when it rains, it pours, because Darnell Mooney's injured, or Daryl Mooney. I think Darnell Mooney from the Chappelle Show. But Daryl Mooney's injured. You can't go from there. Okay. Yep. Better luck next year.
All right. Washington beat Atlanta. Poor Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, but I like Riverboat Ron, so I'll take it. Poor Marcus. Look, it's a secondary support team for Marcus, but he's not the guy. He's a guy, but he's a better guy than Desmond Ridder. Don't buy on the Desmond Ridder hype. I don't care if Desmond Ridder comes at me. I saw you play at Cincy. You shit the bed against Bama, and all those guys are playing defense everywhere in this NFL. I'm sorry.
All right. Cleveland beat Tampa.
We're supposed to be anti-fucking Cleveland here.
Yeah.
Side note: next week the penny train is coming hard.
Ooh,
it's gonna be a special stop.
The memes are pretty.
It's
good
gonna be
already.
a special stop. Like I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
But like I have no mercy towards everything what Cleveland has done. They have reignited my hatred of them as an organization with their pathetic need to be relevant in this world besides being losers. To where, I'm going to save that for next week. But Tampa, Todd Bowles is not a good coach. Y'all convince yourself a coach. You said that he did not get a fair rap in New York. Well, evidently he did get a fair tryout. He was there for like 3 seasons, and he just wasn't up to snuff. And he's not up to snuff here. Yes, there's injuries. Yes, people left. Yes, Tom may have taken a step back or not. But it all kind of comes down to what scheming is and seems out of place, out of practice, and out of time.
All right. Jacksonville beat Baltimore.
I feel conflicted. Because even though AFC South, whatever, I want to see teams succeed because I like the people that Jacksonville has kind of like grown and developed. Like Trevor's kind of building up a little bit on me. I like Etienne. I liked Etienne back when he was in Clemson still. And I need some legitimate competition so everybody doesn't say that we just got handouts. It's the ego thing that we talked about. I feel bad for Lamar, and it's always going to feel bad for Lamar. That team, because the thing is, they put him in a damned if he do, because he can't jump ship because they're going to franchise tag him to a $41 million deal, but no one's going to trade for him on a $41 million deal on a franchise tag.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you do, you get a first and a third. So it feels like indentured servitude, and it ought to be considered that when all the trades they could have done, they didn't get him any help for anybody. Rashad Bateman was unfortunately hurt again, put on IR. They traded him for, I think it was Roquan Smith. I like Roquan. I'm not crapping on him. Patrick Queen's not cutting out. But, like, you legitimately need some help on the offensive side of the ball when your starting running back is often at times Kenyon Drake and then Gus Edwards. But then James Robinson was sent to the Jets for like a 5th rounder. You couldn't get James. I mean, granted, he's often injured. I think he's injured now, but I'm just using for example. You couldn't even try to get someone who is like who may be a legitimate starter who wasn't cut several times, throughout his years. Why don't you just call Jay Ajayi up and be like, hey, man, want to give it one more go?
Former Dolphins, everybody.
Yeah, see what happens. But like and this is not anytime you hear me talk about players specifically, I'm not really trying to insult them. Sometimes it's schematically, but when I'm talking about like wideouts and things like that, the idea is that if I mention your name, is because you're not the highlight, but you're what's given to this quarterback who I think is the legitimate highlight reel, and he has to work with that. He has to work with Proche. He has to work Proche. He has to work with Devin Duvernay. He has to work with Mark Andrews, who's injured. And then there's other people who are just not there. And I'm like, everybody needs somebody. You think Patrick Mahomes would be Patrick Mahomes if he didn't have Travis Kelce? You might not have Tyreek, but your Juju is okay enough as it is. You have people of it. You think what do you think the Bills traded for Stephon Diggs all those years ago? Yeah. Because they know that they needed to depend people. And they're like, Rashad Bateman went down. We traded Hollywood Brown. You got a 1st round pick out of it. So that's actually kind of smart, in my opinion, for a guy who I don't think was worth money down the line. Because it's not working in the Cardinals, obviously. He got hurt. And you can't predict for injuries, but it just doesn't work out. And I just want to see, while these people are in the prime, especially when they're runners, I want to see them succeed. I don't want to see them go the way of you never want to see anybody go the way of, like, I don't want to say a Dante Culpepper. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just something happens and it just
St. Louis all those years, he was really good and just like nothing.
But even in a quarterback realm, you just don't want to see a guy who didn't have a lot. I'm gonna say it's Steve McNair, even though they're not built the same way. They have similar styles. McNair was more of a passer, and he ran as it was like option A and option B. But there was something electrifying about his game, and we love McNair. But we also I love Lamar. We say in my other group chat, I'm like, RB1 can throw the ball. Just suppressing. Like, just Steve Biscotti, I don't think is the GM anymore. Or no, Ozzy's not the GM anymore. But whoever's the GM anymore, you're not setting him up for success. I'm saying it.
All right. Okay. Let's see. The Raiders beat the Seahawks.
Pass. No one cares about that. Good for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
You declined his 5th-year option, and no one's going to overpay Josh Jacobs. I'm saying that right now because everybody's always going to be concerned about running backs. But what he's more likely to do is just to leave on a similar contract, and now leaves the Raiders back to 1, which is unfortunate because that's all they've been doing this season. Is like, let's get rid of Mel Kiper's entire not Mel Kiper's. I'm sorry. Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock's entire GM with John Gruden. That's literally what their story has been. And it's like Josh McDaniels is single-handedly destroying this team with Ziegler, and it's fantastic. And now you're going to lose a guy who's probably has a strong chance if he goes on the space to lead. The guy had 300 total compiled yards of receiving and rushing, mind you, and he had the 84-yard walk-off. But you're going to lose the guy who is probably your biggest offensive stability, and you do not have a backup plan. Whoo, sloppy.
All right. Next. A favorite stop of ours, Arizona. The LA Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see. Kyler Murray's stats: 18 of 29, 191 yards for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
He ran like 60 yards.
How much is the game?
Like 200 plus as well.
Okay.
And this isn't more on Kyler. This was definitely on Cliff Kingsbury's defense and the huevos, rancheros of Justin Herbert. I like Justin Herbert. Every time I'm on the Twitter, people tend to hate Justin Herbert. Emmanuel Ochoa hates him for some reason. I sent it to you guys of how he calls him like a social media quarterback. I'm like, what do you mean by this?
That's one of the guys who's on 2 and On, by the way.
Yeah. Well, but that's the whole thing I know. So people who hate Justin Herbert or people who are defending Tua, I'm like, ¿por qué no dos? Because here's the thing. Herbert's first 2 years were excellent and Tua wasn't doing anything. You can like him now. You're stuck with that draft position. He's having an MVP year, but keeping in mind is that Herbert's still the straw that stirs the drink. And yes, he has better receivers, but now the comparisons are not because Herbert inherited both Williams and Keenan Allen. At this point, Tua had Gesicki, who only developed himself into last year, and then had Waddle. But now it's like similar constructs, and they are a better defensive team in Miami to a degree, whereas there's been a slaughter of injuries. But, Herbert's just keeping it consistent. Tua, the reason why we're not talking about Herbert is because after 3 years, this is what is expected of him. With Tua, it's a surprise. And there's a lot of shade on Herbert. I'm like, dude, I give my left nut to have Justin Herbert as my quarterback. Are you kidding me? Please. Tua, I don't know. I don't think he can handle that stuff. But, that's how I feel about Herbert coming into it. So it was good for him. And then Brandon Staley going for the 2-point conversion was smart because it could be his job. I think he had a 4-year contract. It's year 2. They're not where they're supposed to be. You have to sometimes make those plays to win the games to the best of your ability and knock it out because you're in the West. You have this chance for the playoffs, but you have to try really hard. If you're the puppy in the background, she's getting a little fussy. She wants to play with the cats. The cats don't want to play with her. So there's that. But yeah, and this ain't on Kyler, it's on Cliff. But here's the question. You fire him. Who are you bringing in? Who schematically goes from there? Because I swear to Christ, if I have to deal with Chip Kelly one more time in the NFL, I'm going to scream. Because is he not the only guy you can think of who has college schematics with prior successful NFL coaching? And that disgusts me, Francisco.
All right. Let's see. All right, so that was that game. Let me go to what was the next one here. Big list. So we talked about Raiders, Seahawks.
We have some real analytical thoughts in the petty train this week. It's because I have to make up for the switch. The switch combos.
The 49ers, 13-0 over the Saints.
Handsome Jimmy playing himself into a starting job so many places. I don't know what you do with San Francisco. Like you look on paper, you're literally doing the Pedro Pascal memes like life is good, but it could be better. That's your expectation with Trey Lance. But here's the thing. There's at least 20 teams that are going to look at Jimmy G like, I want him. Yep. I want him now. I need him. So, Yeah, and it's like, because I can see him going to the Jets. I can see him going to the Giants. I can see him going to Carolina. I can see him going to Atlanta if Ritter doesn't pan out. But, money, salary cap situations coming into play for lots of these are just hypotheticals that we use. You could see him going to Baltimore if there's a trade that sends Lamar Jackson out to a different team and they have to have a void, have to bring somebody in. Obviously, he wouldn't go to San Fran. Well, you have a hot commodity because it's a starter, not a journeyman backup. In that sense, it's like you really. He can go to Washington as well. There was supposed to be a trade, and there was some reluctance. I don't think they're going to ride with Taylor Heineke, But, they're definitely not going to ride with Carson Wentz. I feel bad for Carson Wentz to agree. But that's the whole thing. When you have a guy where you can at least say 15 other teams would want him because the quality of work is there. And if you put him with the right team, like this is the problem I think that the modern social media quarterbacking does is that you think the quarterback does all. The quarterback does not run routes. The quarterback does not grab the ball. Sometimes the quarterback has to place the ball properly, but no quarterback in the history of time, even the greatest of all time, Peyton Manning, because yes, to me, Peyton is the greatest quarterback. That's a debate I'll save for Andrew if he comes on so we can get a trifecta into it. Of my living time, too. I wasn't alive for the 70s, 80s, and I was on the back net of Joe Montana. The puppy agrees with me. I was on the back net of Joe Montana. However, sometimes the receivers are supposed to kind of like make those difficult catches as well. Mm-hmm. So there you go in my thought process.
All righty. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. We got 3 more. All right, so the Chiefs beat the Rams.
Poor Rams.
Yeah,
they're all injured, man.
Injured, awful, whatever. That they blew their load last season. That we all know this.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, the Eagles beat the Packers. Aaron Rodgers goes down.
I'm always kind of there for AJ Brown's success, except when we play him later in the month. Next
week.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. Yeah. That's going to be hard. I need Traylon Burks to have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns to make me feel good because I'm going to see it. I'm just going to see it. Here's the thing. When people say, oh, y'all trade A.J. Brown. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I did not trade A.J. Brown. I wanted to keep A.J. Brown. John Robinson wanted to trade A.J. Brown. He was like, we're not going to get to the money that we want. I'm out. We're going to go from there. And that's understandable. I didn't want to trade A.J. Brown. I don't want him gone. I'm sorry. A first-round pick is fine. We use on Traylon Burks. I think we got an additional thing out of it too, but it still hurts. If I knew I would have acquiesced. I would have said, baby, I'll give you everything that you want, whatever you need. I will be there for you. I'll change. I will modify. I will evolve. I'll modernize. I'll eat. I'll reach that pantheon that you agree. John Robinson started me, and I love. A.J. Brown was the receiver that we never had that I wanted. When I was stuck with the David Givens days and stuff like that, the Derek Masons, when we had the bad successes of Kenny Britt and, Justin Hunter. And I'm just like, oof, a lot of players we never forget, right? And I look at them and I'll be honest with you. Some people are going to hear me. Some people are going to hear me say something sacrilegious, gun to my head, Brown or Henry. I keep Brown. And I know that pisses people off. I know that pisses people off.
But in today's game, yeah.
Yeah, well, Derrick Henry can't come when you're down by 10. You can't always. Derrick Henry can't catch the ball all the time and run it.
Yeah,
I do believe that we could have just put in people like who's to say if Derrick Henry left and Saquon Barkley is out there, we can't plug and play Saquon into our system. Money being irrelevant. Let's say we could afford him. Whatever reasons you can't put him in there. It's a tough world out there. Tough world.
All right, and the Steelers beat the Colts. Oh yeah. Clock management.
Clock management.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan's washed. It's tough to say that. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to say it.
He tried. We
like him. Whoever hates Matt Ryan.
No, good career.
There's some questions I want to tell you.
Yeah, good careers. Just got close, just fell short, unfortunately. So that one thing, and then just never could live it. Could never recover from that, and the Falcons, as a franchise, could never recover from that. And he got out too late to try and take advantage of his skills. At least one more chance with somebody else. So, yep, that's it. Unless he can do like Carson Palmer, or
Carson wasn't 38 though. That's the thing.
Oh, that's right. That's also that's what happened also. All right, well, that's it. That's it for the petty trade. So. Cage, right? Yeah.
Let's do it. It'll be a short change. Welcome everybody, your weekly Triplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance, in my opinion. Sometimes ballet, even though that pisses off the superstar Billy Graham. Where men and women try to beat the holy hell out of each other. Establish their legacies, chase championships, just be on the pinnacle, get on that TV time. And we're on that post Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and sometimes it's just adrenaline to the veins. We get that storylines. We'll keep it short because we're on the back nine of certain things. There was a pay-per-view that happened. AEW have nothing to comment on. We'll save it for next week. That's more fun, I think, right? Given the circumstances. Impact. New Japan. I got to follow up with it. They have Wrestle Kingdom that's coming up in January, so expect me to kind of push a little bit further into that to get some diversity in this effing game. Because you know me, I love me a little bit of that Jeff. What I'm gonna
Wrestle
do?
Kingdom's their WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom is basically their WrestleMania.
Okay.
And last year they did as a 3-night event. This year I think it's only gonna be 1 or 2. But those little clips I send you, I'll gear. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Well, no, Kazuka Okada, the reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, he shows up in some of the Yakuza games, and so do some of the other people. I think Hiroshi Takahashi.
Yeah. Don't tell me this happened again. All right, so Charles. Okay, there you go. Now you're back.
Oh, sorry. I probably hit my mic by accident because I'm talking with my hands. If you said, Charles, put me on a wrestling match that would make me like wrestling, I would probably put on a New Japan match in the last couple of years to get you invested in the physicality of it.
Oh, hold on. Your mic is all over the place right now.
All right. Can you hear me now?
You sound like a robot.
Am I better now?
Maybe.
Partially.
Keep talking. Let's see what happens.
All right. So, I would put on those.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, AEW is for the spot fest, and there's some good storylines. And then for WWE, it can come and go, even this new Hunter S. Helmsley era. So we had a pay-per-view this weekend, Survivor Series, one of the big 4 pay-per-views. And I was excited to kind of see what was going to happen because Survivor Series has been ass like the last 4 years. Survivor Series was originally created as also the debut of The Undertaker 32 years ago, but the Survivor, was it 32? God, I'm old. Survivor Series itself was a concept that it was supposed to be 5-on-5, 5 men versus 5 other men, 5 women versus 5 other women, and then go from there. And then as the years progressed, it would go into storylines, it would go into brand supremacy, and I skipped like the last 2 Survivor Series. Like the champions versus champions, the different titles, or the 5-on-5s. This year I was kind of hesitant. Because they announced it as War Games, and last week's show extended War Games. Brief thing. 10 people, participants, 5 on each team, steel cages, and people come in certain time periods. You go from, of course, there's that man, Seemed upset with his beautiful. Excuse me, son of a bitch that he is. But there were some of the matches I was looking to. But there was like 5 matches on this, and it's like a 3.5-hour show. They had a women's War Game match. They had the Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. They had Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown title. They had the triple threat match for the U.S. Championship of Seth Rollins, who we love, Austin Theory, who I like, and then Bobby Lashley, who we absolutely adore, going against for that title. And then you had the men's War Games match. So War Games was interesting structure because it was done in NXT for the last couple of years, and now this was his time on the main roster. So it kind of threw some people off. And the pay-per-view itself, man, I thought was very good. I would say it was a B- because there were some matches that did not fill it for me. The women's War Game match was what I expected to be, very spot city. And we talk about spots, we're talking about segments. We're talking about parts of the match that are supposed to get the highlight where something happens, where there's a bump, there's a move, there's something that's going on. And it was kind of clunky to a degree because you're also trying to fill in time to wait in people because you're talking about advantages. So it isn't 2 at a time comes in. It'll be one person, and then whoever has advantage gets their team to come in, so it then becomes a 2-on-1, and then you build progressively. The end of the match was cool. Becky Lynch went off the top of the cage and put Io Sky and Dakota Kai through the table and got the 3 count for her. I wasn't crazy about burying the tag team champions in that kind of spot because I felt Nikki Cross could have lost. Ate the pin for them. I felt like Bayley could have lost and ate that pin for him and go from there since she's lost the last 3 damn pay-per-views against Bianca Belair. But whatever. There's some shout-outs. Mia Yim had a cool spot when she kind of did a tope through the middle of it. There's a couple of botches as well. Botches are mistakes. But that happens sometimes. And I will be critical of a botch. Poor Io had one where she kind of like went up to the rope, went to kind of stomp on Bianca, I think, and then she got kind of stuck in between the ropes. I'm like, oh shit, this cage in the ropes. I'm like, oh boy. But it was more physical, but spot fest. So it was fun. I didn't hate it to a degree. We get to the next match happened. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. I liked it a lot. It was like 18 minutes. The history was the 2 former Bullet Club leaders going at it. AJ won clean. I felt like the match needed 5 minutes more. It felt like there was something that was needed to it. Apparently, there was a pseudo rematch last night where it was the OC and Judgment Day, their 2 respective staples going against each other. So that was interesting. Then we get to the women's SmackDown title match, Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey. It was not good at all. It was very bad. It's actually what kind of dragged down the grade of the pay-per-view because I still had to watch it, and it was like 9 minutes, and there was no real practice and flow and training. Good wrestling tells you that it's rehearsed, but it doesn't look too rehearsed. Like things can look spot on and clean and fluid. And I care about fluidity. It's tough because you're a hulking mass of a human being trying to catch another person's hulking mass of a human being. So that's why I always think ballet. And if you want ballet, you want to be a perfect pro. You don't want to be like Fantasia, where the big hippo is getting carried by the small little duck or whatever. If you've ever seen that movie, it's fantastic. But that's how I always equate spots sometimes where it can be really bad, because if you laugh at a botch, that's not a good thing. And then they're in Massachusetts. Boston is one of the worst places to host a live venue. They were dead for certain parts of the matches, and I kind of hate that because it's not like in Japan where they're quiet out of respect and they do light applauses. You want to get that crowd energy. Like everything in Wales was fantastic for Clash of the Castle. My God, Boston, like y'all just suck.
Yeah,
y'all just suck.
Sheesh.
Like you want Cena or you want Sasha. They were chatting the match. We want Sasha, and meaning Sasha Banks, and whether or not she's coming back, I can't tell you. I don't have that inside scoop. But if I paid money to see something, I'm gonna carry some energy. There's going to be matches I don't like. Like, I think the Shotzi match was atrocious. The Ronda match was atrocious. There was something on Twitter going #fire Ronda Rousey. And I don't know what the particulars are. And, what you hope is that Hunter demands improvement of all his people. Because at the end of the day, they are performers. You have to be a director sometimes, and you direct. But it was just not good at all. I won't say... Oof. I think it's an indictment if I say it was the worst pay-per-view match I've seen this year, because there has been Vince McMahon produced matches that I have not looked over on before he left in July, but it was probably the worst Triple H pay-per-view match I've seen happen. That being said, we had the triple threat match for the U.S. title. Loved it. It was good. Theory wins after what happened was Seth did a Falcon Arrow and he was carrying up to do the finish, and Bobby speared Seth and then went through the ropes because of the spear, and then Seth being hit with the spear gets landed on by Theory, who was held up in the air and got the 1-2-3 count. So it was kind of like a fluke win. They're going to go with that feud. That was very nice. The men's war game match, Francisco, was absolutely perfect. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. It is the bloodline versus everybody who hates the bloodline. So you think bloodline, think anti-life. That's the way I'll say it. They hate the Samoans. They hate Roman. They hate the fact they cheat. It's spearheaded apparently by Sheamus, the Brawling Brutes, with Drew McIntyre, who lost at Clash of the Castle because of the bloodline's interference, and then Kevin Owens, who could never beat Roman because of bloodline's interference, and then his best friend, Sami Zayn, who he's known for 20 years. Legitimately, they know each other for 20 years. They made it on the road together, stuff like that. They're both Canadian. They're both boys, best man at weddings, stuff like that. It was the battle for Sammy's soul. And everything about it, I feel like I just have to make you watch it.
I started watching. I put on the clips there just to see, like, I guess the emotional gravity of it.
It was strong because at the end of the day, it felt like that Sammy sold his soul to be part of a family that isn't ever his family, and betrayed his best friend, because that's what Owens, who's like a tweener, and mind you, Owens has betrayed Sammy throughout the times of the years, but Sammy and him, they never came to blows at any point during the match, which I thought was very well done. Owens looked the best of all the baby faces against the bloodline, but he and Roman went toe to toe. I sent you some of the clips where they're smacking each other, and that was like a legitimate smack because I think Owens got too into it, and then Roman got too into it, but I loved it because I'm like, yeah, they have fantastic history. This is good. Believability. If I'm invested, I'm thinking something's going to happen. And then so Owens hits Roman with the stunner, and he's about to get the 3 count on him. And then Sammy comes in and stops the pin for the third thing. He doesn't interrupt the pin. He stops the ref from counting. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, boy. Oh, man. Like, it's the story of the time. It's like Owens always has Roman's number until he doesn't, and he never wins. And then it's like, oh, boy. And then he's calling Sammy. And then Uso went for, like, the super kick. Jimmy went for the super kick. Owens grabs it, and then Sammy just looks at him and then low blows him. Uppercuts him right between the legs to betray him. And then he offers the pin. He has the legitimate pin because after he low blows him, he does the haluva kick, which is special because Roman tells him to do it. He does it so he could pin Owens, but he chooses not to. He lets Jey Uso, the one that they've been having beef for the last couple months, get the pin 1, 2, 3. And he sells the soul devil, and then Jey and him hug, and you get the crowd popping, and everybody's invested. And then you see Roman and Jey leering at Sammy later, and it was just beautiful. And then last night's Raw, Owens comes out, I was like, Sammy, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to be in the car with you. I don't want to write shows with you. I don't want to ever fight you again. I'm done with you. But with the bloodline and all that, I'm like, this is what you want, emotional story investment. Because I can watch people beat the shit out of each other every day. I watch boxing. But for me to get invested, I need to feel those tears. There's a little bit of dramatic theater that comes into it, right? They're actors doing their own stunts. And buddy, And you know I've been like downright obnoxious with my obsession with everything on, but it's just damn good TV. And the good thing about it is that now that Roman might be back to feuding with Owens again, because remember they wrestled 2 years ago at the last Royal Rumble, but if they're wrestling each other again, or they're making premise on, or their presence on Raw, it makes Raw more watchable. Because remember, Roman has the main belts and he's usually on SmackDown, so there's a little bit of lacking of in interest, I would say, in Raw. But overall, pay-per-view was a B- because of that very bad match. But that match itself, the War Games men's match, that was an A+. It's not going to beat Sheamus Gunther. Nothing's beating Gunther and Sheamus this year from Clash of the Castle for the Intercontinental Championship. If you said, Charles, show me one match that will make me like wrestling, that would be the match, because that was chef's kiss for Charles. But this was everything I need to be. And you know what? They didn't even go spot crazy with weapons and stuff like that. It came up at certain points because it's War Games, but it told a constructively different, narrow thing. You felt the intensity. You felt the drama. You felt everything. You felt like everybody hated each other. It was just damn good. And it made me very happy. And that's all I got for you this week on the Cage, man.
Okay. All right. So that's it for us. So we'll be back next week, and then we'll see if Andrew has gotten into his Nintendo Switch and gotten at least a game or two, hopefully. All right, guys. Bye.
All right, take care. Oh, one more thing, Francisco. Don't shut off. We're on?
Okay. Yeah, we're on.
We're on. It is Giving Tuesday. Match donations. I did it last year. I just did my donations during the show. I donate to wherever I want to. Charitable donations. Donate. Go from there. You got a couple hours. Knock it out. If there's going to be anybody that contribute, you do $5, someone's getting an additional $5. You do $1, someone's getting an additional $1. You do $100, that person's or that organization get an additional $100. Whether it be St. Jude's, food banks, humane societies, which is my things, your local women's shelters, men's shelters, DV centers, homeless camps, anything of that nature. Give back a little bit. Here I am talking about material possessions I buy on Express, but it's the little things that you won't miss. Will you miss $3? If you'll miss $3, will you miss $1? Because you're gonna get somebody else who's gonna contribute to that to match it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, or if you do want something, there's the Shop Goodwill. Okay, that you can round up your purchases and it'll go to donations for them. So yes, you can do that too. If you can get find some games, some hidden gems there if you feel like that too. All right. Well, all right. Bye everybody.
Take care.
Welcome back. Time for the New Teeth Now game summary, and it's basically the 3 goals. A minute 7 in, Taylor Hall makes it 1-0 early. There was no more goals until late in the second period. And power play goal by Steven Stamkos, point number 999. And then with Herbig's off for tripping, the Bruins get one from Hall again in the slot with a man advantage, 2-1. And that's where we sit.